The bad part about going gray is I like going gray on top. I'm getting some good salt and pepper. Going gray in the beard means my beard is just wild now. It's just... There's this patch here. I don't know if you can see it on stream, but it is just like straight out.
Yeah. I think I've got a little bit of the grey in the beard, but for me, it's most of my grey is the sides.
Oh, getting the
my hair's too... Yeah, my hair's too thin on top for me to be able to actually see it, so...
Oh, Christ. Okay. Alright, let's open up Discord. We're gonna promote this show. Hey, T-Bomb Rocks with a quick hopping in the chat. Hello.
Oh, yeah. How was swimming, T? Did you have fun? Are you cooled down? Are you there? He's swimming. He went swimming. I don't know if he's watching us from his mobile device. While his kids are swimming. No, while the kids are swimming. Like, literally everybody I talked to today bailed to go swimming except for Mackie.
That's... is it International Swimming Day or something? That's odd.
Well, it's also really hot everywhere else except for here, apparently, where it's raining.
Boy, we were recording Pup yesterday, and Mina doesn't have air conditioning right now, and she lives in Texas. And it was,
yeah, I saw her tweeting about that, and it's just like...
1:08 while we were streaming. It's the fastest episode of Pup we've ever done. Also, none of us felt like being there.
Actually looked like real pills for once.
Hey.
These ones are an experiment. This is a recommendation from my good friend T. Hi, T.
I'm in Florida, so swimming every day is possible. That's a good deal.
To be honest, if I lived closer to my mother-in-law, I would probably swim every day.
Man, as part of the... I live right near a golf course. I'm going to try and not say where I live.
Don't name dropping.
But it's an old golf course that they're trying to turn into like houses and stuff. And as part of it, they want to build like a bunch of parks and stores and a swimming pool and this stuff. And unfortunately, all the people that built these houses between the 50s and the 70s are blocking this renovation of the area.
Is that because they're idiots?
Well, part of it is they're sour that the hi there, Black Hammer 6, keep spamming and I'm going to block you. Part of what they're upset about is, one, that the golf course failed, but it wasn't a public course, so it was going to fail. The other thing is, if their house backs up to the course itself, the backyard is much, much smaller.
Okay.
And they don't want houses you know, not in my backyard sort of thing. Sort of literally.
Okay, so literally what their backyard is smaller because they've got the golf course out, and what they've actually been in their own mental delirium. They've been thinking, look at the size of my back garden. No, that's a golf course. That's not your back garden.
Yeah, and like the thing that's really frustrating is the neighborhood is on a cusp right now, and we're starting to get more and more renters in the neighborhood, which by itself is fine. But at some point, when you get too many renters in one area, they stop taking care of all the properties because they don't live there.
Yeah, it's not their houses, they don't care.
Yeah, and I think what these older people in the neighborhood don't realize is you're going to get that. And if you have a giant golf course, which at this point is now just giant fields, we have a real homeless problem here. The homeless are just going to move in and set up camp. Like, I think you want that less than you want a swimming pool being closer to your house.
Oh, people are weird.
All right,
like, really weird.
You're getting a timeout here, sir or madam. And take a breather for 30 minutes. Mostly because I don't give a shit about Paul Logan.
You can tell how much of a shit you give considering you said his name the wrong way around.
Hey, there we go. Oh, God.
Never has a point been proven so quickly.
God. Well, that's the problem when you have two first names. I can't keep track of this.
Get a fucking last name.
Get a last name like Smith.
Fuck you. It's a fine and decent name, and it's hard.
It's not a first name. That's the important part.
I
wasn't making fun of your name. I'm saying that is a last name. It's not like your last name is Paul.
Paul.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Paul P. Paul. That's me.
Yeah.
What's your middle name? Paul.
Paul.
Yep.
P
Paul cubed.
That's almost as bad as Kevin.
Paul Logan is his unracist cousin. Thank you, T-Bomb Rocks. Also, hey, Kostramal.
Hey. So yeah, should we talk about more adventures of Moon and the chaotic nature of his lifestyle right now?
Sure. Is the lifestyle chaotic, or is your wife chaotic neutral?
My wife is chaotic evil, for one.
Yeah.
We all know this.
That's fair, especially when she's on the high seas.
I'm sure that she will. If she listens to the Outcast, she will counter that argument to me in person very loudly and aggressively. She is also a Slytherin, so
yeah,
she is chaotic evil.
Yeah, but without the racism that comes with being a Slytherin. She
is a Slytherin in the definition of being a Slytherin, which is very single-minded, very goal-orientated, and will get there no matter what.
Yeah.
Whereas a Gryffindor is similar to a Slytherin, except a Gryffindor cares more for everybody else than their own personal goals.
Right. A rising tide lifts all ships.
Yes. Yeah. Whereas Jess's attitude is, that's my target, I'm going to get there no matter what, and I don't care who fucking stands in my way, you can go through you if you don't move.
Yeah.
But no, I can't remember if I mentioned it on the show, but a couple of weeks ago, we've got a chest freezer that decided to stop working.
Great. The only thing it needs to do.
It might have actually been after last week's episode when we discovered this.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, why did it stop working? Like, because the kitchen was getting a little funky and we couldn't figure out why.
Yeah.
Like, cleaned all the surfaces, cleaned everything down, and then the chest freezer where Jess does meal prep and then puts a whole bunch of food in that chest freezer for like, oh, we'll have soup in a couple of days, let's pull it out. Done.
Right.
Chest freezer basically blew its compressor.
Oh no.
And we discovered this because stuff stopped working. We went downstairs to the fuse box to check out the fuse box, and I touched the fuse box and my wife saw sparks. So we live in a house that's like 115 years old or so.
Right.
And as far as we know, the electric like cabling has not been changed in 115 years.
Oh no.
So we think that there was probably a surge, it spiked, and it's blown out the compressor on the freezer. And it's blown out one of the fans that we had downstairs in the basement to keep air moving so the basement doesn't just get super muggy.
Yeah.
So the chest freezer is done, basically. And yeah, like, we spoke to the landlady and we were like, look, we just want a solution to the fuse box, because
right.
If this is going to be a continuing issue, I don't want to go out and get, like, you know, spend $300 on another chest freezer to have it blow up again on us.
Right.
So all we need is just like a normal solution. So the solution was to replace the fuse box and all of the power cabling downstairs.
Okay.
Not going to do the whole house.
Right.
Do as little as you can to get away with it, basically.
Well, they don't want to rip open all these walls and all that, too.
Yes. So what ended up happening was the guy came yesterday, so we had no power in the house at all yesterday.
Oh, boy.
So we decided to go to a festival.
Okay.
So because it's Rochester, which apparently is the city of festivals, because every week there's a new fucking festival.
Festival capital USA.
Yeah, there's the Lilac Festival, then there was the Arts Festival early in the spring, probably about 6 more festivals since then, and then this one was the Canal Festival. I don't know why you need a festival to celebrate a canal. I genuinely don't.
It's the Tuesday Festival. It's Tuesday.
Pretty much. That's how I'm starting to feel about these festivals.
Actually, that's probably just the farmer's market.
It's Saturday morning every week.
Yeah, for
and
us, it's like
started this week.
Tuesday between like 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. It's like, how is anyone gonna make that?
It's the farmers market because only farmers can get there. That's why yours is called the farmers market. It's not because it's farmers' goods. It's because only farmers can go there. Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Now I get it. It's all coming together.
But yeah, we went to this canal festival, which, to be honest, we just like going because there's a whole bunch of like. Apparently, Rochester has a really thriving like local artist scene and local business scene. So we go there, we do our best, we support some of the local business and stuff. I actually got this T-shirt yesterday.
Nice.
Which, for those listening, it's a giant blue mug of coffee. It looks like staring at you and just says "I own you" in a really creepy face. Jess got a taco with the similar eyes on it, like similar art style with eyes, and it says "Every now and then I fall apart."
That's pretty
which good. Is an incredible T-shirt. I got my insulated silver beer stein thing.
Nice.
Which today is full of soda.
What sort of soda? Sorry, pop.
American cream soda.
Ooh, that's some good stuff.
It is. And it tastes exactly the same as the American... Well, over here it's just called cream soda. In England it's called American cream soda.
Interesting. Is there a British cream soda?
There is not. Weirdly enough, it was the only cream soda I had growing up was American cream soda.
Weird.
Which, if we ever made... I don't know what they call it over here, but if you ever put ice cream in soda, that's what we always made it with, was with American cream soda. Not our soda. Always the American one.
And it's not root beer? Because over here, like, the most popular one is a root beer float, which is root beer with ice cream in it.
Like,
Weird.
Root beer is so hard to get in England, it's ridiculous. And when you do get it, it's the fancy kind in the glass bottles about this big that cost like £20.
Right. It's like you're buying kombucha. That's weird. That's surprising.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, kombucha's like a... I finally found a brand I like. It's basically like a lightly fermented probiotic drink.
Oh, that's the thing you were telling me about the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
Oh, their mechanical beak.
Hello. But yeah, we went to the Canal Festival, picked up a bunch of stuff, spent way more money than we should.
You got outside for a while, walked around for a bit.
Yeah. I got this guy last time I was at a festival, so I can't complain. But yeah, I did that.
Mug.
Then went to a comic book coffee and cereal bar run by pro wrestlers.
I saw your tweet about that. I was like, oh, it's a comic book store and a coffee bar and a cereal bar run by pro wrestlers? What? Yep.
And it was kind of cool. Like, it was like... To be honest, it reminds me of those hangout spots you used to have in college. Like, when you were in college, you'd have like a store that all the college kids would go to and just chill.
That one coffee shop.
Yeah, where the people are fine. You know, they don't get you arrested for just standing around.
Yeah, they don't care that you're there for 4 hours.
Exactly. It kind of reminded me of that. And coffee was nice. They have the only 2 times I've drank soy milk and enjoyed it was at that place, and once in California I had a soy hot chocolate, which was the bomb.
Really? I don't like soy milk. Almond milk is fine.
No.
Nope. I feel like those are the 2 other milks, alternative milks I've had.
Dude, as far as I'm concerned, there is only one kind of milk. I will drink the others when I have them.
Yeah.
But in general, there is one kind of milk. And it comes with a red top on it, and it's full fat. Anybody else who's drinking any of this other stuff, you're not drinking milk, you're drinking coloured water. Yeah. Thank you very much. Not this 2% bullshit.
Skim milk is rough. We usually buy that Fairlife milk that, it's one of those like it doesn't have the lactose in it. And it's the first one I've found that actually still tastes like milk. It's not like you're eating it and you're like, you know, like, why does this taste weird? Brain Eater says cashew milk is pretty good too. That's true. I forgot. Cashew milk is pretty alright.
I've not had cashew milk.
It's one of those things where you drink it and you're like, cool, this is going to taste like nuts. And it sort of doesn't really. But I don't... Okay. I think it's high in cholesterol because it's made out of nuts. They just squeeze the nuts really tight.
Yeah. Get on that Mechanical Press YouTube channel.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
I don't think I've even seen a single video of that Mechanical Press. That's the best thing. I just know it through osmosis.
I've seen a ton of GIFs on it on Reddit. The recent one that I liked a lot was they had one with the holes in the top of the press part, and they smushed candles, so it looked like this rainbow
new candles
explosion.
came out.
Yeah, it was really great. What is that? What is that channel even called? We might as well plug it. YouTube.
Probably Can I Squash It or something?
Can I Squish It? I'm assuming it's this hydraulic press channel.
That's the one.
The greatest pressing channel on the YouTube.
Whoever wrote that copy is a genius.
2 million subscribers.
Yep.
Yeah, there's just... This is pretty great. Crushing Real Diamond. Popular uploads. Are they the one that did
they crush a real
ball and pin? This is all old stuff.
Crush a real diamond?
This is all like 1 or 2 euros ago stuff. Weird.
1 or 2 euros ago? 1 or 2 format of currencies ago?
Yep. No, 2 years ago. Weird. Anywho. Before I go down that rabbit hole.
Yes, let's go back down the pro wrestlers rabbit hole, shall we?
Yeah, pro wrestlers with their coffee cereal bars.
Yeah, best thing was the 2 owners were the guys who served us.
Nice.
And then one had to leave because he was actually going to a wrestling show.
Well, living your best life there, man.
Give the dude his credit. Like, the dude is jacked as hell now compared to when he was in the actual WWE.
Oh, yeah.
Which, yeah. For anybody who's not sure about pro wrestling and you get confused by it, or you understand the cultish nature of it, go check out How to Wrestling. It's an incredible podcast. It's by the same guy who does Cinema Swirl. He introduced his lady friend to pro wrestling. So if you go listen to it from the start, it's really interesting because it's what is pro wrestling, then terminology matches, but then they also do deep dives on individual wrestlers and like look at their career throughout the time. It's a really, really cool podcast.
Oh, we just got another question here in Discord.
Woo!
Let's paste that here into the show notes. Actually, save that last one for last. Whoop.
I must be like the most foul-mouthed, disgusting person on the Outcasts, and then you listen to me doing the show proper, and it's like, oh yes, hello, I'm drinking my tea.
Cheerio.
Like burping, fucking chugging soda. It's the real me versus the podcast me.
Right. Okay, there we go. All right, you ready to kick this thing off? Clearing my throat made it sound like some sort of horrible innuendo. You want to kick this thing off? Huh?
The eyebrow waggle makes it worse, if I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Have you ever watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
I haven't. My wife's been watching it.
There's a really great scene where they're trying to teach that straight-laced captain how to use the suggestive eyebrow waggle to get his point across. So he's always going pump, pump with his eyebrows. It's really great.
No, I have been watching The Punisher though.
Oh yeah,
TV show. That show's actually really great. Like really, really great.
I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, and as much as I hate that actor, like I've never seen him in something where he's a good actor because everything I see him in, I hate him, and generally speaking, he's an asshole in those things. Season 1 of The Walking Dead, anybody?
Oh, he was in that?
Yep.
That's the only season I've seen of Walking Dead.
He was Rick's best friend.
Oh, okay.
And he's an a-hole in that. He's really good at being an a-hole, but he does the Punisher really well. Like, he does PTSD surprisingly fantastically. So, I'm really close to the end of that now, like the end of the season, and I don't know if I'm going to move on to Jones Season 2, because from everything I hear about Jones Season 2, it's okay. But Jessica Jones Season 1 might be one of my favorite like single series television show ever.
It's so good.
It's really good, and it's got David Tennant in it.
Yeah. Let's see what else he's in. Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian as Al Capone.
Of course.
He's in Snitch. Oh, I was thinking of Snatch. Never mind. Wolf of Wall Street, Fury, Sicario. Oh, he was in We Are Your Friends. Oh, yeah, he's the,
Is he an a-hole?
Yeah, he's the asshole boss.
There you go.
Baby Driver, which I still haven't seen.
Oh, he's at the very beginning. Yeah, he's real early in Baby Driver, and funnily enough, he's an a-hole.
Weird. He's in a movie that's coming out called The Peanut Butter Falcon, which sounds like a thing I would name.
Yes.
There's a bunch of TV shows. Yeah, Walking Dead. There's a Robot Chicken.
Robin Chat says he's good in Fury. I don't even know what that is.
I haven't watched Fury yet. Because it's a movie, and I don't get to watch movies. Alright, you ready to kick this thing off?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello.
A couple of pieces of news here at the beginning. For all you patrons, the latest episode of Dynamic Soundtrack is out now. Season 2, Episode 4 is Heavy Tracks. The return of that hasn't been back for a while.
Are we talking heavy emotional or heavy thematically?
Heavy metal.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And if you're not a patron, episode 2 is out on the free feed, dynamicsoundtrack.com. That's the much-anticipated return of Relaxing with Dynamic Soundtrack. Volume 6? 5, maybe? Something
I don't know.
way up there. So go check that out. That's at the $5 level. Also wanted to talk about E3 plans. E3 will be happening next week while we're recording.
Of course. Thank you, everybody, for shifting everything earlier and earlier.
Yeah. While we're recording, the Microsoft one is going to be going on, so we'll probably talk about a little bit of E3 stuff, really probably the big highlights, but we're going to save the majority of that stuff until the next weekend, where we'll do our big E3 blowout episode.
Yep.
Like we've done for 10 years, maybe? I don't know how long that episode goes back. Maybe since the beginning.
I think it does.
But yeah, that'll be episode 556 will be our big E3 episode. So look out for that. It's coming at you. That's enough of that jibber jabber. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
So we talked a little bit in T-Memoir. Listen to it this Wednesday, folks.
Yes.
Give it a listen. Good for your ear holes. We talked a little bit there about how I've kind of had a rough week and I didn't feel like playing Isaac because it's kind of a kick in the face.
Yeah.
Instead, I played State of Decay 2.
Alright.
Which, the more I'm playing of that game, it's fun, it's enjoyable. It seems basically like it's not going to be anywhere near as difficult as the first game, and from what I'm hearing scuttlebutt-wise, basically as you complete the game, you're in an area, you clear the place of plague hearts, and then you complete a series of quests which are dependent on the type of leader you chose. Okay. So I chose a builder, so it's probably going to be about upgrading stuff. I don't know. The other leader, like the warlord, I'm sure that's go and kill everybody.
Right.
Once you've completed those, you can essentially New Game Plus it.
Okay.
But when you New Game Plus, you get a bunch of perks carried over to the next playthrough.
Oh.
So one of the upgrades you can get, I believe I heard, is that basically everything in your community is powered and produces no noise for that power by having that perk. So it sounds to me like this is taking the Parasite Eve 2 Dino Crisis Resident Evil route, where it's like, oh, you beat the game. Next time, let's make it a little bit easier for you.
Right.
And the time after that, a little bit easier still. And the time after that, and the time after that. So it sounds like this might be heading down towards the game getting easier the more you complete it.
Yeah. That's cool, though.
I'm actually looking forward now to just getting it done and getting like that first playthrough done, so I can take as much as I can through to my next playthrough.
Right.
And then hopefully from there I can just use it as we refer to it as the comfort food game.
Yeah.
Where it's go to it, you play a little bit of it, you sign out kind of thing. So fingers crossed State of Decay 2 continues to be good. Still has the same issues, but there was a 20 gigabyte patch released yesterday.
Oh god.
So I don't know what's in that patch. Hopefully it fixes a fair few of the issues that have been going on.
I had seen a news headline that there was a big patch that came out that was just full of bug fixes. So I'm hoping it's that one. That is just gigantic, though.
Yeah, it's a big patch.
Yeah.
Like, I was really surprised by, like, my wife was like, oh, you know, just so you know, there's a State of Decay patch. And it's 20 gigs. And I was like, is the game 20 gigs?
Yeah. Are you giving me more game?
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
So, who knows, maybe it's like a bunch of up-res textures and stuff like that. But
yeah, maybe.
The game is fun. It's still tough when you get like 4 plague hearts right next to each other. I've literally done the loop and almost died several times because I'm trying to fight a plague heart and there's another one right next door.
Well, the best of neighbors.
Yes. But State of Decay 2 is still really cool. If you want to play, just send me a message. I don't mind jumping into your world, helping you out, or vice versa. It's fun, like especially when you can just run around and do your own thing within a certain area, and you just get rewards for it.
Yeah,
everyone gets rewards. It's really fun. But yeah, State of Decay 2, really fun still. I played Rocket League again. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why.
Comfort food games, like, that's Rocket League.
Yeah.
The matches aren't super long, you know how to play it.
Yeah, and jumped in with my wife and Kat, one of our friends, and we had a genuine blast just playing some Rumble mode, which is the mode in Rocket League where you get the power-ups and stuff like that. The reason my wife jumped back into it first is because the new seasons just come out. So all the rankings are reset to the new competitive season. They released a new map with this new season.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the name of this map.
No.
It's called Salty Shores. And it's on a beach.
Great.
They know their audience 100%.
Yeah, that's really good.
Especially considering like they have all the new player banners and stuff like that, and one of those says salty on it, and it's a salt shaker just sprinkling a little bit of salt.
Great.
Like that came out with the last season.
That's really good.
They know their audience so well, and of course, new season they have a new crate. So
yeah,
my wife is in the middle of spending another $300 on keys so she can unlock all the new contents of the next crate. But Rocket League's still really fun. Like, yeah, I kind of wish I knew more people who played it because, like, Heiko plays it, but I'm never online the same time he is anymore because of my work.
Let the cat out real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, Heiko plays it, but I'm never online the same time he is. My wife plays it. I love you, darling, but you get super competitive, really, really competitive, and I don't want to be the anchor that drags the team down into losing. But I don't know, I kind of want to play it with people. I'd like to play some, like, if we can get six people together and just have private matches with random teams. Like,
start a Rocket League.
Yes, exactly. To be honest, that's the one thing the game is missing is, like, that whole, like, the competitive thing you see in, like, NFL and stuff where you can have, like, online leagues with your friends.
Yeah.
That's what Rocket League is missing, where it's just, like, you know, stick it in where, you know, 8 people or 16 people can all sign up and then you just play doubles matches with each other.
Yeah, just set up a bracket and all that.
Yeah, it would be really cool. To be honest, that's pretty much the only thing I can think Rocket League actually needs these days is a custom bracket.
Right.
Everything else they seem to be nailing. I mean, their esports presence is still strong. And if you ever worry that you're not good enough at Rocket League, just go watch the esports people.
Yeah.
And then realize nobody's that good except for those people.
This is a whole different game they're playing.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how they do it.
Right. How are you always flying? That shouldn't be possible.
The only person, like, my wife is really, really good. Heiko is the only person I've seen come close to that, where it's like he's in the air, maneuvering, shifting the direction of his car to predict where the ball is going to hit it and then go in the goal. It's like you deliberately pointed the front of your car in a specific way, while at the same time having enough angle and velocity to get to exactly where you need to be to hit the ball. You guys are crazy. You are Cyclops in human form. It's bonkers. Man. But yeah, Rocket League's still really good, and I can't believe they released Salty Shores. It's so perfect.
Really great.
Yeah, the last season they released a soccer field, and the announcer's English. So last season it was like, "What a save!" It's so terrible and so good at the same time.
Yeah.
Played some. Speaking of comfort food games, why do I keep playing roguelikes? I played Wizards of Legends.
Oh yeah.
More. Like a lot more. I know Hannah in Discord asked whether or not this might be up his alley.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because honestly, Hannah, I don't know if you like the action beat 'em up games. If you're a fan of like the kind of like the isometric, like really cat.
That was a graceful leap right into your lap.
Yes, it was, and she straight away flopped down and lying down. Thank you, Louise. But if you're a big fan of like isometric beat 'em ups, and you're okay with roguelike stuff, like I know you and Hannah both loved Risk of Rain.
Yes.
Which, from what I understand, is a roguelike as well.
Yeah.
If you're good with isometric beat 'em ups and you like roguelikes, you can't go wrong with Wizard of Legend. The art style is amazing. The combat feels tight, like it's a nice, tight feeling combat. So it's not something that you have to worry about. Is that where sometimes you get those kinds of games and you feel that you messed up because of the game, like you inputted correctly, the game didn't respond correctly. It does not have any of that feeling at all. It's all about your loadout, your build, your ability to actually do the dodge. Like, why do I always forget the name of it?
Rogue Legacy?
No.
Nope.
The isometric combat game, we played it for Game Club. It was the 8-bit style. You backed it on...
Hyper Light Drifter.
That's the one.
Yeah, got it.
Like, when you're in there and you're doing the dashes around the posts,
and
then you make the mistake and you know you made the mistake.
Right.
It has a similar thing where you can do the dashes as well, and you can chain dashes, and then you fall down a hole because you're an idiot and you dashed one too many times.
Yeah.
It's all on you. Like with Wizard of Legend, it feels that tightly compacted thing. The only thing that feels a little bit rough so far for me is the Earth boss. Like, because you do 2 floors and then a boss floor.
Right.
That Earth boss guy is all about filling the screen with stuff that's going to hurt you.
Yeah, I just saw it. So I've been watching, one of my favorite YouTubers is Northern Lion. He plays a lot of Isaac. He plays a lot of other roguelikes too. So he's been playing Wizard of Legend. I would actually recommend people go watch some of his series because he starts it from the very beginning. So it's a really good... It's not like, oh, I'm going to play this game and I've played it for 400 hours. So, I know everything about the game. He just fought the Earth boss, and I think got pretty close to beating him, but it was very much like, oh, he's doing an attack. Oh, the screen is full of deadly stuff. What the hell?
Yep. That's pretty much how the bosses, like specifically those 3 bosses so far have gone for me, where it's just, you will get worked by these people. I did beat the Flame boss for the first time.
Nice. So
I'm kind of pleased with that. It's a good thing and a bad thing. They make really bad puns when you first get into combat with them.
Oh no.
The Fire, I can't remember the Earth guys because his is so much better, but the Fire Lady's like, can you feel the heat?
Oh.
And yes, it's that kind of level, but the Earth guy is actually really good. But the game is fun. Like, it's very, very tough. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's at first you get item floors on each items shops on each floor. And they do sell a potion which gives you like 200 HP back, and for the longest time you get about 125 coins on a floor if you're lucky, and I was spending those 100 coins every single time to use the potion to get my health back.
Right.
Now I'm better at the combat, so I can use that money to buy the relics instead to give me increased dash, increased resistance.
Right.
So I'm getting to the point where I'm about to step into that next level.
You have the foundation down.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna transform into Super Wizard Legend, and then I'll get to Super Wizard Legend 2. But I don't. It's fun. Like, I'm just having fun having a really tight combat game. Yeah, it has roguelike, and it can be very frustrating because I was playing it. I was on a really good run, and I pulled up my side. I paused the game and pulled up my sidebar on my Xbox for a reason. I can't even remember what.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was looking something up, and then I accidentally clicked the wrong game. So it immediately quits out of Wizard of Legend, loads up this other game, and I was just like, why? Why did I just load the wrong game?
Why have I done this?
I lost all of my progress in Wizard of Legend because it force quits it, which treats it as a death in the run.
Oh.
It's similar to doing the dailies in Isaac. If you quit, then you lose.
That's a bummer. I thought the Xbox dashboard was better about that, because like when you go to pick another game on PS4, it says, "Hey, by the way, you're going to close out of this other thing. Do you want to do that?" And it has cancel selected by default. And that has saved me so many times, especially with Isaac, where it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go play some Destiny." No, I'm still playing Isaac. Okay, I need to finish that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Wizard of Legend's good. Like,
yeah.
I'm really pleased that Robin and Justin managed to talk me into actually picking her up, because it's been a really fun, in a way that Flint Hook never scratched that itch for me, because Flint Hook was just so fast paced
and a little mean.
Yes, don't get me wrong. Wizard of Legend can be very, very mean, but it's not as fast, and it feels like the controls are on my side rather than me trying to fight it.
Right.
Which Flint Hook, I occasionally got the impression that it was like, no, I didn't want to swing on that hook. I wanted to go through the door, or I didn't want to go through the door. I wanted to swing on this hook.
Watching people play Flint Hook with keyboard and mouse, I'm watching that footage and going, oh, okay, that's how you should play Flint Hook. All right.
I'm guessing it's because you can just click on what you want.
Yeah, you can just aim your cursor in game directly at you want. It's like, oh.
Okay,
right,
that makes more
better.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
But yeah, Wizard of Legend's good. I want to sit down and play it locally with someone, but I know my wife will never play it.
I wish I had more time to play more stuff, because it sounds like that's 100% up my alley.
I think so too. And from what I know about Hannah's gaming, I think he would like it, but I hesitate to recommend anything to anyone.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to tell you how to spend your money, because you might end up like me, where you've got 300 games installed and you only play 4 of them.
Well, I think for Wizard of Legend, it's probably pretty easy. It's like, the very first question is a question anyone knows the answer to. Do you like roguelikes? If that answer is no, then absolutely don't buy it. If it's yes, and you like a little bit of a challenging roguelike, then it sounds like it's a good enough game that you should probably at the very least check it out.
Yeah, it's just like for me with Hyper Light Drifter, I don't know why I went and did play the full game without dying, but I did it.
Right.
But the reason I did it is because I felt like I was good enough at the combat after playing the game first time.
Right.
That I could get away with doing it, and I enjoyed that playthrough. I think Wizard of Legends is the same thing. It's like the more I play it, the better I get, the more I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I've had other games feel like it's just not, me playing the game more is not letting me get better at the game.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, play Wizard of Legend, folks. If you're in, you're in. If you're not, you're not. That's fine. Play what you want to play, but Wizard of Legend is good.
Yeah.
And my last totally 100% relaxing, not at all stressful game of this week is Dark Souls Remastered.
There it is.
I don't know why. I literally everyone was talking about it. All the people who I listened to on podcasts were talking about the game. All the people who love it were talking about it. Stupid Mackie over at No Quarters was talking about it, and me and him both love the original Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
So it became this thing where it's just like, should I play it? Should I get it? Yeah, I'll pick it up. Let's see how it runs. I'm 100% back in on Dark Souls.
Did you play the game when it was originally out?
Yep. Okay. On 360, I soloed that game because, similar to Maki's situation, by the time I was playing that game, everybody was already done with it. Like, everybody had stopped playing it. The only people still playing it were those D-bags who want to invade you every chance they get.
Right.
So, playing it now on the remastered version, which that game, I'm not sure, but I think on the Xbox One X, I'm pretty sure that thing runs at 60 frames per second.
I think it does on all platforms except the Switch version when it's going to come out. I think that's 30.
Okay. Because that thing runs so much better than I've ever seen it run. It's so smooth. The game looked dated when it came out because it has a very specific art style. But that doesn't stop it from being a really good game.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing a thing this time which I didn't do last time as well, which is Justin T-Bomb Rocks from the community. He also picked it up. So they've made changes to this game in a really positive way. For the original Dark Souls, if I wanted to play with you, we would have to be within 15% of our total level of each other.
Okay.
So if you were level 50, actually, correction, if you were level 100 and I was level 85 or 86, I could put my soapstone down and you would see it to summon me into your world.
Right.
If I was level 80, you wouldn't be able to see anything I put down because I was too outside of your level range.
Weird. Okay.
I think it did it that way so that you couldn't end up getting really high level people invading really low level people's worlds.
Sure. I just started the game. This dude is level 500.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that happened to me a lot during Dark Souls. The original Dark Souls, I still got people come in who had specifically geared for PvP, who knew exactly what they were doing.
Right. Full on grief mode.
Yeah, like their scrub accounts that they just use for grief, like their second character or whatever. And it happened to me a lot more then than now. Whereas now they've changed it so that you can password lock your online setting.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know why more games don't do this. It's a genuine great idea.
Yeah.
Most games don't run the way this does when it comes to online, so I can kind of understand. Basically, I go into my network settings and I can say, my password is this. And
my password is pyramid.
My password is actually Moon, M-O-O-N. Because Justin chose it, not me.
Now,
so it's not me.
It's got to be something different, because
no, that's fine. Anybody who's listening here who wants to join in is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But you password lock your network settings, and then basically the only other people who see your soapstone are people, number one, within that percentage range, and number two, who have that password as well as their online settings.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
I will not see any other random strangers' soapstones because I have that password setting.
Right.
And only people who have that exact same password will see my soapstone.
Smart.
And then they have the option to turn off the restriction.
Oh.
So you can join in whoever you want to join in.
That's
so
smart.
Let's say I'm at the very end of the game and you start playing and you want someone to come and help tear down some demons.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm aware, I could totally jump into your brand new game and help you kill everybody.
Right, Capra demon it up.
Yes.
I know all I know about the Capra demon is I know it's like a trigger phrase. People always go, Capra demon.
Yeah, because his arena is a tiny little arena where you fight him. Mm-hmm. He has two huge stone swords. Oh. He's about 4 times the size of you. And he has 2 dogs with him that cause poison damage.
Great.
So
much fun.
Yes. I'm going to say this and it's going to come across really badly. The Capra Demon is essentially he's the end of the tutorial boss.
Right.
But he's like the 5th boss.
Right. the real Dark Souls starts here, that old meme.
Yes, exactly. After him is when you've got one more boss after him, and then after that you start getting into the true named bosses who start dropping souls, which you can get weapons for. So it becomes a whole different ball game after like the Capra Demon and the Gaping Dragon, which the names of some of these things are incredible.
Bad name.
No.
That's a punk band name.
What, the Gaping Dragon?
Yeah.
It's much better than the Ceaseless Discharge.
Oh boy.
Which is an actual name of a boss.
That looked at.
Yes, they should. And Seath the Scaleless, which is another great and terrible name at the same time. I just remembered where Seath is. He's the ice dragon who really messes your stuff up.
Man, I love ice dragons. I don't know why.
Seath is incredible and terrible at the same time.
Yeah.
He's really cool because he's technically not ice. He's actually crystal. So it's even cooler.
Better. So
yeah,
cool.
Dark Souls. So yeah, the way I've been playing Dark Souls is basically me and Justin have been I started, he jumped in and helped me with the first 2 bosses or 3 bosses, and since then we've been cycling. Mm-hmm. So I will jump into his game, help him clear the area, beat the boss, because you can only be summoned into a world if the boss is still alive.
Right.
And then he will come back and help me jump in and go through, clear that area, and then kill the boss.
Ah, smart.
So you're kind of playing it co-op, but at the same time you're also getting essentially, not actually, but essentially double the XP.
Yeah.
Because you're helping somebody else kill a lot of things and then a really high value target.
That's cool.
Which, it makes the game easier. It gives you experience, especially in my case where I've done this all before, but there are certain things I completely forget about. So we did really well. We played it a lot. I played it a lot this week. I'm not gonna lie. I played a lot of Dark Souls. Way too much Dark Souls.
Yeah, but like once you get into it and you get that rhythm down, you don't want to lose it.
Yes. It's also stupid stuff like knowing about the Drake Sword, which is a really high damage weapon you can get in the first 2 hours of the game.
Oh, nice.
That should technically take you far enough to get the next couple of really big swords. So I enlightened Justin about the Drake Sword.
Mm-hmm.
And then we made it all the way, and then yesterday we hit Blighttown.
Oh no.
Which, if anybody, like you said, very few people, like if you don't know Dark Souls, there's 2 things you know. There's Capra Demon,
yep,
and there's Blighttown.
The terror of Blighttown.
They're the 2 things you hear about when you hear people talking about Dark Souls.
Yep.
In the 360 version, it's because Blighttown, even on the PC version, from what I understand, really high-end PCs, they struggled with Blighttown.
Yep.
It's an area, like, the combat in the game is great, but it's very precise. The running around is not the best controlling.
Yeah.
Blighttown is an area full of ledges, pitfalls,
yep,
platforming sections, really tight walkways, enemies who poison and toxin you, things that are capable of knocking you off and into the bottomless pits. And on the 360, the thing ran at like 5 frames a second because it was so poorly designed.
Yeah, like I feel like that's the enduring legacy of Blighttown is, hey, look at this game's 30 frames a second until it's 5.
Yes. I think Mackie described it best as it turns into a slideshow where you die at the end.
That's really great.
That's how he described Blighttown. And I think it's pretty perfect because that's what Blighttown was on the 360.
Yeah.
Me and Justin, we got up to it. And it runs silky smooth.
Yeah.
Like, it's 60 frames the whole way. And you know what? Blighttown is still a pain in the backside. It genuinely is. It's still tough. Like, the platforming is hard as nails. The stupid toxin enemies are still hitting you with the stupid toxins and making you waste stuff, which is so expensive to rebuy with your souls, which you need to level up. It's still frustrating in the other ways, but at least now it's not a slideshow.
Yeah, now at least you can control it.
Yeah, like, brief story time here, so I feel bad for Justin because he's played 2, he's played 3, he's never played the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like his guide through this. And when you're in Blighttown, there's 2 bonfires you can hit. before facing the boss and finding the shortcut home or back to Firelink. So we went down there, and something you can't do is if I'm summoned into your world, you can't activate a fire. So what ended up happening was I ran with Justin, and we started at the beginning. We made it all the way through. We got to the first bonfire, and I thought, no, I'm not going to tell him about it. We're just going to see if we can do this in one shot. Take the ultimate stupid risk and see if we can do the entirety of Blighttown in one go. So we kept on going. I didn't tell him about the first bonfire. We got all the way up to really close to the end. We got to the second bonfire. I'm like, oh, there's that bonfire. And right there in front of us, I didn't tell him, there was a big spinny cog thing. That's the shortcut to get back to Firelink.
Okay.
So that is the point you need to get to. Once you're at the top of that, you can then avoid all of the stupid platformy BS.
Right.
And just go down the stupid cog thing, essentially, and you're at the end of that area. So we jumped on the stupid cog thing. I went first, got off at the top, perfectly fine. I was the summon in this case, so if I die, it didn't matter. Justin got on, got up to the top, fell off the edge and died.
It's one of those things where like, I'm just gonna turn. Whoa!
Yep.
Dark Souls.
Which means that we have to start the entire area over again.
Oh no!
And we have to go through the whole ordeal again to get back to the place where we died, which was about 6 feet away from the shortcut.
Oh no!
So that was fun and terrible at the same time.
Jeez.
Bright side, loaded up this morning, and we actually did we did like a hopscotch thing where Mackie joined in as well. So it was me and Mackie, perfect time, and he got to Blighttown as we did. Me and Mackie would jump into Justin's level, get him to the first bonfire, then he would banish us. I would jump into Mackie's, get Mackie to the bonfire, then he would banish me. and then I would literally sprint to the bonfire as quick as I could,
right?
Trying to avoid being killed. Hit the bonfire bit. Okay, we're all here now. Me and Mackie jump into Justin's world and get Justin to the next bonfire, and then I jump into Mackie's world and get Mackie to the next bonfire.
Oh man.
And now we're at the point where all three of us have unlocked the shortcut back from the top of Firelink all the way back down to that point. So we never have to step foot in Blighttown again.
Freedom!
F Blighttown. That place is a nightmare. Even running 60 frames a second, it's still frustrating because that section is designed by people who hate people.
Right.
It's someone who doesn't want you to have any fun playing their already very difficult game. So, whoever came up with Blighttown, there are other areas which are bad. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Sen's Fortress. I'm not a huge fan of the Catacombs. I will not say why, because I want Justin to discover these things as we are playing it.
Right.
But Blighttown is an actual, literal, what were you thinking when you designed this type of level?
Right. Why do you hate the rest of humans?
Like, I don't know, but yeah. Dark Souls. It's fun. It's great. I'm still loving it, and I don't know why I'm in a bad mood, and I'm still playing punishing games.
Right.
But I'm loving it. Maybe I'm a sadist.
Maybe. Dark Souls will do that to you.
Sadist or masochist, whichever one it is.
I can never keep them straight.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, that's all I've been playing. Dark Souls is fantastic.
I played a little bit more Destiny 2 this week, mostly for the weekly checkpoints and the Nascent Dawn quest. It's step 4 of 5 for this week. This one was, after the last couple weeks of it being really, really tough, this week was really easy. It was basically, it was like get 5 multi-kills with a scout rifle and get 20 multi-kills without reloading.
Interesting.
Which took about 10 minutes. It was like, go do an easy quest and go find a node on Mars, and then, hey, here's an exotic weapon. So they gave you the exotic scout rifle at week 4 out of 5, which I'm hoping means that next week we'll get the exotic catalyst. For anyone that has been paying attention to Destiny 2, they are doing this big exotic weapon revamp, where I think it's every if not almost every, exotic weapon got completely changed, and almost all of them are great now, as opposed to before when almost all of them were really bad. What they do now is there's an extra slot for about half of the weapons. They're adding more as time goes on. And it's a catalyst slot. If you hover over it, it'll tell you where to get the catalyst. It'll be, a lot of them are like, kill enemies of the light anywhere they show up, which is just like, go kill people. Or earned by getting victory in the Crucible, so it's win in any Crucible mode. A lot of them are really great. You'll get, so for example, I got, there's a hand cannon called Crimson, which is modeled after the famous Red Death weapon from the first game. So as opposed to it being a pulse rifle from the first one, it's now a three-shot burst hand cannon.
Interesting.
And I got the exotic catalyst, and it was like, oh, you need to kill, I think it was like 300 enemies with critical headshots. Like, with this weapon. It's like, okay, cool.
That's not too bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. It's just like, you'll get it over time.
Yeah.
I did that, and it increased my range by 20. So now the impact and range are almost maxed out for that gun, which means it's just a killer. I'm hoping week 5 of 5 for this quest is the masterwork for this gun. That would be really great just to have like the complete gun as soon as you're done with this. Because the cool part about it, I haven't even said, I had to look up the name, Polaris Lance. It's a scout rifle. It is, it's an elemental scout rifle, so it sits in your secondary slot. There are a lot of weapons in the game where if you get a number of headshots in a row, it refunds one bullet back into your magazine. And it pulls it from your reserves. So you're just sort of able, as long as you can hit headshots, you can just sort of fire forever. The thing that's different about Polaris Lance is it does that for every headshot you get. It gives you a bullet back, but not from reserves. So
it basically turns it into infinite ammo.
Right. And on top of that, every 4th critical shot you do lines up, your 5th bullet will do a giant explosion when you land with that.
Oh. So this sounds like a bit of a game breaker, if I'm completely honest.
It's actually not that bad, because it's one of the slowest firing scout rifles, which means people don't want to use it.
Okay.
Because it's very slow firing but very high impact. But it's that kind of fun, slight risk reward where if you can find a boss that has a big crit spot and you can sort of plant for a little bit, you can do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it's still a pretty good gun. I think the rumor is that the masterwork is going to give Firefly, which is killing with a critical shot, makes that enemy explode. So that is just going to make it, that much better.
Yeah.
So I feel like now that this quest is slowing down, I feel like I'm starting to slow down with Destiny 2 a little bit, just because I'm not going to be able to raid. I don't have the time to do heroic strikes a whole bunch. So I'm sort of reaching the end of the content that I'm going to be able to do, which is fine. I'd rather sort of fade out than get burnt out.
Yeah.
But I'm still not doing a lot of PvP because who has the time for that? I played a little bit more Owlboy. I realize we have about 2 weeks to finish that, so I need to play it. I finished the first dungeon and the first boss, both of which were really pretty cool. The first boss was really great. You had to juggle between having your buddy with you that has the gun.
Firing.
Yeah, and dropping him so you can spin the boss so he can shoot a shell off so you can get to the
squishy bits. That boss. That's a really cool boss fight.
Yeah. So far I really like Owlboy, and we'll of course talk about it during Game Club, but I'm pleasantly surprised how much story there is in the game. It's not just like Dungeon 1, Dungeon 2. There's a ton of well-written story. There's there's a lot of good stuff there. So
Yep. Like that first boss battle, like I genuinely enjoyed the first time I played it. I think, if memory serves as well, when he runs across the screen to get a shell, I think you can pick up a shell and move it to the other side so you can keep shooting him as well.
Smart. That's great. This game's great.
Yeah, it's genuinely fun to play, and getting that teleportability as well, where it's like, oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah,
That takes away
now I'm
my
starting to put
worries
this
of-
stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played more Picross Luna 2. I'm now moving into some of the 15 by 15 puzzles, which I enjoy those puzzles a lot, but I have trouble doing them on, I have the quote-unquote small iPhone.
Yeah.
So the grid can get a little tiny. The thing I like about most modern Picross games is they'll usually have at least 2, if not 3, of the 3 most popular control schemes. Obviously, one of them is just tapping the screen. The one that Picross Luna 2 has that I really like is basically a D-pad on the screen, and it moves your cursor around on the screen, and then you have a mark or X out button.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it helps so much on smaller devices like this, because if you're playing on an iPad or something, you're not really going to have a problem because it's so much bigger.
Yeah, but when you're trying to count across from an edge, you're like, oh, so I want to go 5 in here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 4.
Yeah, and it's
1,
like I'm
2.
accidentally marking the wrong column. It's just a mess. So far so good. I'm about done. I finished my first set of story puzzles, so that was the first 10 by 10 grid of 10 by 10 puzzles.
Yeah.
I'm now on my second one, and I have a handful left on that. I think the thing I like so much about the story puzzles is they're a lot faster than the regular puzzles in the game.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate, because sometimes I'm just like hanging out. It's 5 minutes, maybe knock out a puzzle or 2, and sort of go back on my business. So far, still really good.
Oh, that's good to hear.
I played a little bit more Yakuza 6. I finished the chapters that are dealt with the second city. I'm back in the main city now. Pretty quickly, they gave me the clan creator stuff there too, which I did a little bit more of, and it seems fine, but I'm hoping that by the time that I do more of it, that it gets a little bit more robust, because so far it seems a little thin. Like I'm just sort of marching my, gang members in a straight line over to a couple of waves of enemies, and then we win. It doesn't feel super great so far. Like it's fine, but it's maybe not the best thing. The one criticism I have so far is the Troubler missions. That's that phone app I was talking about recently.
Mm-hmm.
I did a bunch of those once I got back to the main city. One of them was, hey, I planted a bomb. Can you go find it? And they give you a picture of where it is, and over time they give you more hints if you're sort of taking a while. You get like 15 minutes to do it. So I diffused one of those. But one of my biggest problems is the Troubler missions sort of are a little too often. So it's like you'll just finish one and immediately another one's going to pop up.
Yeah.
Which normally would be fine. You could go ignore it, but a lot of times, like, you'll get a mission that says, please help me in front of Millennium Tower. Someone's beating up my friend. And you'll accept the mission, and Kiryu will write back and be like, I'm on the way, I'll help. And if you ignore it, you just don't accept the mission. That person will write back later and be like, oh, it's okay, no big deal. No one around town wants to help me, but, he's got the crap beat out of him. I'm in the hospital and he has no money. See you later, whatever, jerks. It's just like, well, now I feel badly. So, I don't know. I was on about this on Pup yesterday. I need to keep pushing forward on Yakuza 6, because seemingly any day now, Kiwami 2 is going to be out. So, like, sort of need to finish this before the next one comes out. But man, it's still really great. I just need to focus on the story. I'm super leveled at this point. I just need to keep pushing through.
Kiwami 2 is Yakuza 2.
Yeah, the remake.
Redone.
Yeah, where he punches his tiger.
Okay.
That's the only, literally the only thing I know about Yakuza 2 is he punches a tiger in the mouth.
The only thing I know about Yakuza is you do taxi driving in one of them, and there are the Japanese pro wrestlers are all in the new one. So okay.
Yeah. They're so good. Talk about that game we talked about last week, that Puratomo game.
Which one's this one?
The model building one. Yes,
I have been playing this too.
Oh, good. I finished Puratomo, all the 60 puzzles. So filled up the house. I'm actually going to keep that on my phone because you can really easily replay all of those puzzles, which is probably really great. Where it's like a week like this week, I'm just having a rough week. Let's build a television.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't understand why more games haven't done that.
Like that let me just replay it.
Hey, Warhammer, why don't you just release a painting app where you can paint your different figures?
Yeah, there you go. That's all you need. Well, especially for a game like this, because it has ads. I don't want to say all over it, but there are ads pretty frequently. You can always exit out of them right away, but you sort of want people to replay your game so you can get more money from the ads. Like it.
Yeah.
Weird. So I downloaded the other one, which is Puratomo Resort, and that one has.
That the one with the, because I already downloaded this, is that the one with the beach house looking thing?
Yes.
Instead of the blue sneakers, it's a beach house.
Yeah, it's like a sunset and a beach house. That one has 40 puzzles, and it starts off a little bit harder than the first one did. So
Wait,
far...
Maybe I'm looking at a fast food restaurant.
That's the other one. Oh, I don't remember what the title was. That's the other one that... Angel I recommended because apparently you put together something in a picture that looks wrong. That'll be the one I play next.
Okay.
But so far Resort seems pretty good. It's just more of the same, but just starts off a little bit harder than the first one. But still cannot recommend those two games enough. They're really, really great.
Yeah, I enjoyed the time I've spent with that one so far. Just putting the stuff together, it's just like, yeah, I've had 10 minutes. Yep. I'm just zone out for a little bit. Click, click, click,
Put
click,
together
click,
a door.
Click, click. Yeah.
Yeah. I played the Crew 2 closed beta.
I knew there was something I forgot to do this weekend.
Yeah. Boy. One of the core tenets of this show is that we always try to be positive about something we're playing.
Oh, this doesn't sound good if you're starting with that.
I cannot find anything I enjoy about the Crew 2.
Oh.
This is... I feel like it's like the evil version of Forza Horizon 3. And it reminds me so much of Dirt 3 in the real bad ways. Like, Dirt 3 couldn't get out of its own way with its presentation to just let you race. Like,
yeah,
Dirt 3 is one of those shut up and let me race games. Where it's like, just stop talking to me. I gotta go race.
Boston. The Crew 1 is very much one of those games.
Yeah, but the Crew 1 was a Ubisoft game that was trying to tell a story. And that to me is different than the Crew 2. The Crew 2 is this, like... It's like an infomercial. Like, it's... The whole premise of the game is you're a racer just starting out with no social media presence, no followers, none of that. And you have to build up your followers as you race across the country over time, yada, yada, yada.
So it's Tony Hawk Underground.
Yeah. And that, in and of itself, I don't really mind that much. It's just... when it's combined with some of the worst voice acting I've heard in a really long time.
In a Ubisoft game? Really?
But it's not normal Ubisoft bad voice acting. It sounds... This is where I'm getting the infomercial from. Like, it has screen wipes, and it has presentation from this television company that's promoting and broadcasting these games, and it's very much like, don't forget, you gotta get your followers to get more followers, get followers, and it's just like, shut up. And they are the one thing that I was. They try and do a Forza Horizon 3. Remember the intro of Forza Horizon 3 where it's like, I'm racing this car. Whoa, this other car came out of the sky and now I'm racing that.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. The Crew 2 decides to do that, but throw Inception into it. There's...
Hold on. Throw Inception into it? You're going to have to explain this one.
Yeah. So basically, you start off the game as... first off, you pick... They do the thing Sea of Thieves did, where it's like, pick one of these 8 customized racers.
Okay.
But you can't customize them. And you can't randomize them.
No, it didn't say customize these races. It said pick one of these customized past tense. It's
one of these custom racers.
All of the hard work's been done for you.
Yeah, we made them for you.
Exactly.
So I picked one of them, and you don't seem to see them again.
Well, yeah, it's a racing game.
But, like, in cutscenes... a lot of times you'll just see like the back of them and someone talks to you and you hop in a truck and you drive off. So Inception, you start off driving like a sports car through a city, and then you're doing the checkpoint stuff, and it's fine. The driving is fine for the cars.
Is it like the Crew 1 where it's that slightly more arcadey, just pull your brake and drift around a corner kind of driving?
Yeah, a little bit. It feels a little bit more between the Crew 1 and Forza Horizon. Mm-hmm. Like, sort of in that gap area. So you're driving, and you come up to this bridge, and the world bends.
Wait.
Like, I have
you are
written in my
pulling my
notes,
leg right now. You are pulling my leg.
No. I played through it twice because of something that screwed me over in this. So you go up to this bridge, and the world bends in front of you, very much like in Inception, you know, where like the city bent up in front of them. Okay. And you can see these boats that are going under the bridge, but the bridge is in front of you, and your car zooms off into the distance / up this bridge wall, and they don't do the thing as smoothly as Forza Horizon did, where it's like, now you're this car. There's a loading screen, there's like a screen wipe, the logo is there for the broadcasting company, and then you're driving as the boat.
Okay, because at least Need for Speed Payback, with all of its terrible things, when they did the jump from vehicle to vehicle, it was instantaneously.
Yeah. I don't like the boats at all.
That's because boat racing games suck, dude. Every single boat racing game has sucked.
I don't think they control well at all. I was continually frustrated by driving over another boat's wake and just getting completely messed up. Mm-hmm. Where I got totally screwed with this was I did one of the jumps. This game loves jumps. So, of course, you're jumping in a boat, which totally works. I got over this jump and landed in like an embankment on this island, and it wouldn't respawn me, so I tried to hold triangle for rewind. That wasn't rewind, that was restart the whole event, which brought me back to racing as the car.
Nice.
So, did all of that again, and then once you, like, of course, once you are finished with the boat, the world curves again, and your boat goes shooting off into space. And
is there another bridge wall?
Yeah, and now you're a plane, and the plane flying sucks.
Oh,
like it's just, it feels like they were going for the Red Bull flight stuff that you see.
Yeah.
Where like the planes are flipping,
time trials, yeah.
They're sideways, and you're going between stuff. Don't like how that controls at all. And I got through all of it, and that's the tutorial, and it basically shows you the map of the US, and it says, well, here are 4 events. It's like a rally, a off-road Those are for the cars, and then a boat and a plane one. I'm not going to pick those no matter what. So I thought, okay, well, let's drive like the truck off-road one. There's a cutscene that some guy's like, hey man, I've got this truck. You can borrow it and do a race, and if you're good enough, maybe I'll let you race for my team. But you're not going to lose, are you? And it's like, I don't... Who am I racing against? Like, I don't... Spoiler alert, I didn't race against anybody. I won because
it was a time trial.
No. I just won because it was just me in a truck, like, going through Wyoming. So I don't... And that was the last race I did because there's nothing about that I enjoy. I just... And it's a shame, because the crew one had a lot of ideas, and you could see that core, like a lot of Ubisoft first games. You'd see the core there that could be good. Thought, man, crew 2, alright, we're going to get it right this time. Whoops.
Hold on, let me set a reminder on my phone to check on the crew 2 in about 2 years, see how it's doing.
Yeah.
Because you know Ubisoft are going to support it, and in a year or two, the game is going to be incredible.
Yep. And they should, but I just think when I look for a more casual racer like this, I don't want the Crew 2, Dirt 3. I don't want that. I want Forza Horizon. I want a 10-second cutscene of like, great job, you know, my name was El Pollo Diablo. Great job racing, El Pollo Diablo. You did great. All right, you're back in your car.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's the presentation I want. Is
racing games don't need story. Like,
right. I just want to race.
Don't get me wrong. If they can make a good story, make a good story.
Sure.
But you gotta make a good story. Hello, Need for Speed Payback again.
Yeah. So, but to finish up for my games I'm playing this week, I am playing a game that is 100% up my alley, and I have been spending every free moment I've had this week playing it.
Oh, I already know what this is.
And this game is Moonlighter.
Yes. It should be up my alley based on the name.
Yes. This game is 100% up your alley, too.
Oh, I know.
So I love this game so much. I have so much to talk about. I'm going to try and focus. So at its core, there are 2 games presented in Moonlighter. During the day, you're running your shop, and you are a merchant selling items to heroes. And you set the prices of the stuff that's in your shop, and you're trying to manage supply and demand, which is managed pretty well. You're trying to find the sweet spot where, you know, you're not getting fleeced by your customers, but they're also going to happily buy your products. You're stopping thieves from stealing your items. And each time you go run your shop, it takes maybe 5 or 6 minutes to sort of process that whole day. And that stuff is really great. And then at night, you go dungeon diving. And it's a full hack-and-slash roguelike with 5 dungeons. Each one has 3 floors and a boss. And this is where I start really loving it, is this loop. Like, you spend 5-10 minutes maybe running your shop and sort of improving your shop, buying upgrades, like getting a bigger shop, getting better pedestals to present your items, and upgrading your bed so you have more armor when you go in the dungeon, more storage space for stuff you're bringing back. And then when you go do the dungeon, that doesn't take a whole lot of time either. It controls super well. It looks beautiful. It has its normal stuff where it's, you know, Zelda rooms connect as one-screen Zelda rooms. There are secrets, you know, there's a map, there's healing wells on each floor. And where the loop starts getting really satisfying is you're selling in your shop the stuff you pick up in the dungeon that you bring back in your pack. So it's always, all right, I'm going to go in there, and you start figuring out which items get you more money as you start selling them to heroes in town. So it's like, all right, these pieces of wood will sell for 100 gold more than these leaves, so I'm going to make sure I don't need these leaves. I can sort of sell them in the dungeon.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna bring these pieces of wood back for sure, because that's going to get me way more money. And that's on top of this whole upgrade tree they have for armor and weapons, that you're taking that stuff you get from the dungeon and applying that to this upgrade tree to upgrade stronger weapons, better armor. You get more health, you move faster, you get more armor, stuff like that. And that loop is really satisfying, and because it doesn't take a super long amount of time, it's really addictive.
It's one of those things as well where when you're talking about it like this, that storefront side of things sounds like the perfect cooldown from doing a run on a
100%.
roguelike. So it's a really good, you do your run, you do what you can, you get back, you do the wind down, and then you do the loop again. It's like interval training for roguelikes.
Basically, yeah, pretty much, because you have your hardcore dungeon crawl, and it's not a super difficult game, but it's so satisfying to make progress in this game, because it's, when you start the game, you're barely doing any damage and you barely have any health, but you're able to fill up your pack, hold the circle button to, it's basically like there's this pendant you spend money in, you put money into to get kicked back out to town. So basically you fill up your pack with as much expensive stuff as you can, you scoot back to town, you sell all the stuff, and maybe before you go back in the dungeon, you upgrade your chest armor, which will get you 50 more health, which means, alright, now I can go a little bit deeper in floor 2, and that'll get me even more expensive stuff to sell the villagers. And that loop feels great, because I've finished the first dungeon, which the whole thing was really great, and the boss was really, really good. And now I'm in the second dungeon, which is proving to be very difficult. But it feels, they managed to get that roguelike loop down, where not only am I getting better at dodging and attacking and learning enemy patterns and stuff like that, but I'm also getting better and better gear. So instead of having 100 health, now I have 320. So I can go to the third floor in the second dungeon. And now instead of doing 100 damage, now I'm doing 200 damage. So instead of having to hit a bunch of enemies twice, I hit them once and they're done. And it's so satisfying, and it's so great to go back to town, put all your items in your shop, have all these people come in, and like, you manage to get your prices just right. So people are coming in and saying like, okay, 8,000 gold for a whole stack of these like fruit baskets or whatever I'm picking up at this point now. That's a great price. And I have like 4 stacks of those. So at the end of the day, I'm making like 50,000 gold, which will get me closer to my next shop upgrade, which will get me, like...
Yep, it's the gameplay loop of the century kind of thing. It's that. Yeah.
And part of what I really like is the game is designed so well that even when you're in the dungeon and you're looking at something that's in your pack, you can hit R2 and it'll bring you to your logbook of items and prices. That'll bring you to...
So you can see.
But it'll bring you to exactly that item. So you can say like, okay, I picked that item. This is just 50 gold. I picked up this item. Oh, I can sell that for 1,500. All right, this 50 gold thing can get the hell out of here. Like I can pick up more of those.
Yeah. No notepads needed.
Yeah, which is really great, because part of the fun is like, okay, I just picked up a new item. Stuff like this has sold pretty well in the past, so let me put it up for 1,000 gold. Let me see if that's, like, if it's too much, there'll be a little, like, sad face that pops up over characters' faces. Or if it's way too cheap, they'll have a smiley face with, like, coins for eyes. And it's just like, oh, man, I could have charged way more for that. So it's great sort of finessing your pricing down on some of this stuff. One of my other favorite things, too, that I like is once you start progressing into the first dungeon and then every other floor after that, items start having curses on them. But not all curses are bad. So at some point, let's say, for example, there's a cursed item, but it just says, like, this is a stack of 4 items, but you don't know what they are right now. It's like, okay, I'll carry those around my pack. You know, they'll get identified once I go back to town automatically. They're probably something good. There's 4 of them, so probably not that bad.
Yeah.
But there are other items that will have like a cross mark on it and an arrow. If you point this item at another item, it will destroy the curse on the item that it's pointing at. So you're starting to puzzle items in your pack. So it's like, okay,
yeah,
I'm going to have this point at that stack of unknown items that will reveal it. And then I'll know at that point whether I need to sell it in the dungeon for a lot less money, or if I want to bring that back to town. And then it starts getting into, like, destroying an item in a path, or one of my favorites is, how do I explain this? It's this item, let's say it's like a sword, will have an arrow that points at another item. The thing it's pointing to will become that item. So if you have a stack of 4 like flower petals, once you get back to town, you'll have that one sword and then 4 swords in that stack because it duplicated itself into another.
Okay. So
like
there's another layer on top of the roguelike dungeon crawler and the storekeeper. There is essentially a matchup puzzle game involved in there as well.
And it introduces it so slowly that you're like, okay, cool, like I can break a curse on this item. So if this item is really valuable, but it says it's going to destroy an item it's pointing at when I get back to town, I'll put that in my pack, but then I'll break the curse on it, so I get all 3 items. That's great. And then you start puzzling and like Tetrising all your pieces into this pack so you can get the most out of your money once you go back to town. And it's so good.
Yeah, that sounds really amazing.
I cannot, and I think the thing that I was really worried about was that it might be like Reciteer, this game on Steam a couple years ago that did a very similar thing, but focused more on the shop running and relationship with town members. This is more focusing on the dungeon crawling as opposed to the shopkeeping. But the dungeon crawling feels so good. Like the battle system takes a little bit of time to learn. You very much have the dodge roll from Enter the Gungeon. It works exactly the same way, like dodging through bullets and dodging over gaps. And it just feels good to control and play. I got a trophy a hidden trophy for dying in the dungeon while my pack was completely full. Oh. And what happens when you die in the dungeon is it literally spits you out. Like this portal open and it spits you back out in town and you don't have anything with you anymore. Yeah. And it was something like there's no risk without avarice. And I got back to town and I had none of my items. It's like, well, I guess the shop is closed today because I didn't get anything to bring back with me.
Yep.
So it's out on PC, PS4, Xbox One. It's only $20. I think I've spent at least 20 hours this week playing it. It's coming out on Steam soon, or on Switch soon.
Well, you've sold me on it. Coach Jamal in chat is clearly sold on it. I know once Justin listens to this, he'll be sold on it. I'm pretty sure Rob's probably already sold on it. Can we rebrand this podcast?
Rogueliking it. We'll finally bring that name
TRLP, that roguelike podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe not SEO is good, but still.
The thing is that I'm loving this game so much that the more I play it and the deeper I get into it, the more and more it moves up on my list of games this year. I cannot recommend it enough. It's a very small team. It's like 11-bit Studios is their team, I think. I really wish, if anybody wants to go see what this game looks like, go watch the release date announced trailer. It's so good looking. It's so smooth. The pixels are huge. It's just... Go buy Moonlighter and go play it. If any of this sounds interesting to you, you really need to go check it out.
So far, in the roguelike pantheon, with Isaac right at the top, I think, where does this sit for you? Risk of Rain, Isaac?
I think for me, Isaac is probably at the top, just maybe from content. You know, like, there's only 650 items in the game. I would think... I'd say, under that is probably going to be Risk of Rain, Rogue Legacy, Spelunky, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'd say so far, it's probably, right now in my top 3 is probably Binding of Isaac, Risk of Rain, Moonlighter.
Oh.
I think because of how much content and how satisfying the two halves of the game are, and how satisfying getting upgrades are, and I'm not even... There are 2 upgrade trees for every set of weapons. There are 6 sets of weapons. The top set of upgrades is just damage, and the bottom ones are like, oh, well, this weapon poisons, this one steals health, this one makes them dizzy. I'm not even going on that path yet. I think... The only reason that Risk of Rain beats it is variety of characters, and the music is just so good. The one thing Moonlighter could use is more music. You basically have your town theme, and you have your dungeon theme. And that's really it. It's not bad because you're not spending a ton of time in town, but a lot of times I'm just sort of playing the game without music because... I've heard it already.
Yeah.
I sort of wish they'd have a new song every time you upgraded your shop, as it gets sort of bigger and more luxurious.
Yeah. Maybe start with like a nice simple 2-bar piece, then turn it into 3-bar, 4-bar, 5-bar.
Next thing you have an orchestra. I'm the best merchant. But yeah, Icetown is in chats as well, number 3 in such a short time. I think to me, Moonlighter is one of the best designed roguelikes I've played in a real long time, if not ever. They really, really intelligently designed this game. You could tell they designed it really well from day one, and then just stuck with that. They weren't just sort of building the plane as it was flying.
I guess I'll add that to my list of stuff to be buying, shall I?
Go play Moonlighter. It's really, really great. But that's all I've been playing this week. And before I sell more people on more games, let's take a break.
Yep.
My daughter just woke up.
I'm going to run the bathroom really quick, but also before I do that, I'm going to poke Louise and see if I can get a trill.
I thought you were going to go buy Moonlighter.
No. That'll start downloading now.
Yeah. Poke that belly. Hey, wait a minute. No, I'm tired. Yeah, when Scuttle woke up, he marched over to the door and sort of looked at me, and he's like, hey man, like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like, do you want me to do it in here? Because I don't care. I'm too old.
Well, I'll get up and she'll leave with me because it's about feeding time anyway, so I'm just going to run the bathroom and feed them.
Alrighty. Hello everyone in chat. Starting to get a little ghostly. Speaking of roguelikes, have you guys played Slay the Spire? You may have mentioned on another episode. No, I haven't picked that up yet. I'm really waiting for it to either... I think it's going to come out on consoles. Like, Dead Cells just got finally announced for consoles, I think in August 21st, I want to say. Part of the reason why I've been waiting to pick up Slay the Spire is I believe it's still in early access. Let's look. And I certainly don't have anything against early access, but I usually only have... Yeah, it's in early access. I usually don't have a ton of time... Like, unless we're going to make a Slay the Spire... Slay the Moonpier series. I don't have enough time to stick with a game for a really long amount of time. So I'd rather play it once it's finished, and kind of hit it then. But man, it looks so good. That's another series that Northern Lion is doing. He's doing Dead Cells, doing... I'm surprised he didn't play Moonlighter yet. But Slay the Spire, Dead Cells, Wizard of Legend, Isaac, and like something else. That's a little crazy. Okay, what do we have for news stories? Nothing here in my RSS feeds. Let's see what Reset Era has. Got burnt out on Darkest Dungeon early access for the final release. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm worried about too. And I know that Slay the Spire just released their third character, so they're clearly just adding a ton of content. So I'm really excited to see where that game sort of ends up on its final release. We'll see. Very excited though. Alright, let's see what Reset Era has. E3 2018 predictions. Oh my god, excuse me. Oh, here's a Microsoft Studios and Partners current and future landscape thread. We talked about Sony last week, I think. 343 Industries is potentially working on Halo 6. Coalition. Oh yeah, they're working on Gears 5. Turn 10. Who knows what they're working on? Forza Horizon 4, I'm assuming. Rare is allegedly working on 2 extra IPs other than Sea of Thieves. Really? That would be surprising. Oh, I forgot. I forgot Microsoft owns Mojang, which I think it's Mojang is how it's supposed to be pronounced. Minecraft and Cobalt. State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3. I never truly realized how nice being able to save and exit a game at any time was until recently. Yeah, man, like that was one of the biggest things when Enter the Gungeon came out. They were like, yeah, man, we can't do save and exit. It's like, oh, these runs are getting really long. Hey, Boston, what E3 press conference are you most excited for? Oh, it's sort of a toss-up between Microsoft and Sony, because I want to see if Sony gets cocky now that they're still on top, and you know they're hopefully not going to bring out a new console this year. I think that'd be suicide if they did. But you know, are they going to come out and sort of be cock of the walk and be shitty like they've been in like the PS3 days, or are they just going to come out and say like they did last year? It's like, here's an orchestra playing something, and then here's just an hour of game trailers. I'm really excited for Microsoft. I think this is their show to lose, and I think if they can come out and have a really great show, I think that can really turn the tide on how their console is performing. Because if they can come out and say like, all right, we did Xbox One X, you know, we finished that, that's all done, we got the hardware, here are the games, you know, like let's just start running down the list. I feel like they could do really well. I'm excited for Square Enix, because they haven't had one in so long. That what are you gonna show? Are you gonna give a release date for Kingdom Hearts 3 finally, or what? Oh, there's official box art for Anthem. Let me switch screens here. There it is, the box art for Anthem. Michael Gamble says it is the official box art. What about Bethesda? Bethesda's interesting. They just wrapped up the season pass for Wolf 2, so I'm not expecting them to show anything about Wolf 3. We'll talk about Fallout 76 here in a little bit. Other than that, Prey, I guess? I'm hoping they announce a standalone DLC for Prey, mostly because I just want to play more Prey. Other than that, I sort of don't know what else they have. Not expecting Arcane to be doing anything else other than Prey. Oh, God, excuse me. So rude. What else? Who else is at E3? Let me pull up this predictions thread. See if they have a list of... We have EA Play, which I don't think... Well, I guess EA will have a press conference. I don't know if I care that much about EA. I'd like for them to prove me wrong, but... Hello there, Tall Texan. I'd like them to prove me wrong, but I don't know if I really... I can't think of a series from them that I really care about, especially since they lost the PGA license. Xbox is on June 10th. We're going to talk about that. Bethesda. Devolver I'm excited for, number one, because it's going to be batshit insane. And number two, because I like Devolver published games a lot. What is this place? It's a live stream. You're on Mixer. We're taking a break between recording segments of our podcast. Should be a description below the video somewhere. I don't remember where it is on Mixer. So is it a conscious choice not to talk about Marvel Strike Force on the show anymore? I don't mind, I just noticed. Yeah, with a lot of these games we play sort of every day, we kind of forget to put it on our list of stuff. I can show you my list of games here. Switch here. This is my list of games that I talked about on the show. I usually forget to put stuff that that I play every day because I play it every day. Square Enix, Ubisoft, yeah. I guess Ubisoft's one will be interesting. They'll show Assassin's Creed, and that's it. What else does Ubisoft have going on right now? I don't know. Tall Texan asks, what's your opinion of the PS4 exclusive Detroit Become Human? We talked about it, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago when it came out. I could not care less about it. And I certainly will not support that company. Moonlighter. Oh God, it looks so good. Yeah, those are my my sort of unfiltered thoughts, where it's just sort of like, oh my God, this looks good. Oh, so much fun to play. Oh, this music's great. Yeah, that's mine. Let me switch back to this so you can see that one. You can see what the fuck Inception for Crew 2 closed beta. Any chance of announcement of a new Elder Scrolls? I don't know. Probably, but it's not going to be the one that everyone wants. They're probably going to announce a new Tesso expansion. I don't really think that they're going to announce that. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's still too early / too late. So Moon, what would... I'm going through the list of E3 press conferences here, since this is like sort of our last chance to do it. Ubisoft, other than Assassin's Creed, what do they have?
Other than Assassin's Creed, they've got Crew 2.
Yeah.
Division 2.
Okay. Yep, Division 2. I'm excited for that.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Okay.
New season's coming out.
New season of that.
New operators either just dropped or dropping really soon.
Okay. Maybe during the show. It's available now!
it's semi being spoiled for me, but they've got to have Splinter Cell. You don't bring him into the studio without having a new Splinter Cell game.
Yeah, at least something.
Yeah. You don't
After
get
that's the
Rico
PC...
in. Oh, not Rico. Radcheck.
After that one's the PC gaming show, which I could not care less about because every year, not that I don't care about PC gaming, that show is like an unmitigated disaster. Just
it's
every
a talk
year.
show essentially now, is all that is.
Yeah. I mean, I would like them to get together a more professional show. If they can, I think that'd be really great. We already talked about Sony, and then Nintendo's going to have one that I don't know. They're going to... I have a Switch, so like anything they announce, I'll go, oh, cool, that looks fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing my best. I'm avoiding all spoilers. Thank you, by the way, for the Discord channel, because that means I ain't never jumping in that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, at least until you've watched all the press conferences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best to avoid absolutely everything until I'm watching the actual press conferences, because I want to be surprised and disappointed on my own terms.
Yeah, we're going to talk about 2 E3 things this week, mostly because there have been a lot of leaks this week, but 2 of them have been, looks like this thing's coming, and then like literally 5 hours later, the studio's like, yeah, it is, at E3.
Is that 76 by any chance?
That's one of them, yeah.
Yeah. Which, if only it was Obsidian.
Yeah, I loved Obsidian, hashtag, sorry, not us.
Yeah, I love the fact that people immediately got in touch with them and were like, is this you?
Is this you? Please help us. Oh, man. Alright, you ready to knock the rest of this thing out?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of June 4th, 2018. BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle coming out for PC, the Switch, and PS4.
Number 1, why no Xbox release?
It's a Japanese-made fighting game. That Arc System Works does not put stuff out on Xbox unless it's Dragon Ball, and it's a guaranteed winner.
True.
This one's super weird. This is
You started with BlazBlue, so
Persona plus that RWBY anime plus something else. It's crazy.
I don't know if you've ever watched any Ruby.
No.
I watched like the first season of it, and it's kind of a sad story because the main creative mind behind that was a guy called Monty who passed away like 2 years ago or last year.
Jeez.
And I don't know if you ever remember, like way back when in the early days of the internet, those fan-made videos of Dead or Alive characters fighting each other. It was like, yeah, that was him.
Oh wow.
So he has taken really incredible designs, and his thing for creating that show was never any wasted movement. So their weapons are designed around being firearms and melee weapons at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So there's this really cool flow of combat in there, like using a grenade launcher to propel yourself into the air and then come down and use it like a hammer.
Right.
Like, it's insane. If you ever want to watch some really incredible combat, watch that show. Like, it makes other shows look like they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
It's so good.
Vampire comes out PC, PS4, Xbox One. I keep forgetting this is coming out, and it's coming out in 2 days.
I keep forgetting this is made by Don't Nod.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very excited to see what they're gonna do with it. I really haven't... I've sort of been accidentally sort of blackout for this game, just because I keep seeing it and it's like, okay, well, it's still a while off, so I'm not going to watch trailers or anything. And then I saw a news story this week where it's like, oh yeah, still nope, that's coming out. Okay, I guess I'll just play it and not know anything about it. But man, like Victorian vampire action RPG sounds really good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I'm resisting the urge to not drop the 60 on it like right now. I know my wife wants to play it like hardcore.
Yeah. Is it 60? I thought it was
I think it's 60.
I thought it was a downloadable thing, but ooh, it is 60. Never mind. I'll play that later this year. And last but not least, the Banner Saga 2 is coming out for the Switch. This is them sort of every couple of months, another part of the trilogy comes out on Switch, which seems like a pretty good place to play it.
Yeah.
Playing a
Never played
turn-based
any of them.
SRPG. Alright, let's move on to news stories. First up, Evolve is sort of getting shut down.
Sort of?
Yeah, you can still play it a little bit. So, free-to-play version, gone. That all's getting shut down. The official servers, those are gone. Those are getting shut down. Any ability to purchase anything or loot boxes, those are gone too. Basically, at this point, you get to keep all your DLC and you can play peer-to-peer. So, this is sort of... I wanted to talk about this because this is sort of the sad final chapter of a game that never really got a chance.
No, it never did. The game was I enjoyed the game a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And it's a shame that this is happening to it. Do we know when the server shutdown is?
Where is it? September 3rd, 2018.
Oh, wow. That's really close as well.
Yeah, just a couple months. So
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, the only thing I can hope is that Turtle Rock can take the stuff they learned from Evolve and some of the publishing problems they've had and some of the free-to-play stuff that they've struggled with, and they can go make something that's maybe more akin to what people really clicked with Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, so we'll go make Dead for Left.
Yeah, exactly. You can only turn left the whole time.
Yes.
It's just a Zoolander game. What I would really like to see them do is not do another not asynchronous, but like the 4v1 multiplayer. I feel like they really struck gold on the 4v4.
Yeah, they did.
Unless they're going to come and learn a lot of lessons that Friday the 13th did, and Dead by Daylight, and a lot of these more popular and very successful, many versus one multiplayer games. But
yeah,
I don't know what else you would do in that space right now. No,
I mean, the biggest two genres for it are sci-fi and horror, and the sci-fi one failed spectacularly, whereas the two horror one, the sci-fi one is Evolve.
Yeah, that's true. Whoops.
The two horror ones are Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th, and Crawl is kind of a fantasy version. Sure,
that's true. Yeah, I don't know. Best of luck to Turtle Rock, though. It sounds like, as of so far, the studio is still intact. So hopefully they're working on their next hit.
Hopefully.
Speaking of the next hit, the next chapter of Elite Dangerous's Beyond expansion is going to be out on June 28th. I just wanted to mention that just so Moon can talk about Elite.
No, I need to get back in, like, a lot. I played that game for years, and I'm pretty sure Nimp in like 2 months has taken over me and made me look like baby powder.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's always there.
Yeah, it is.
Just waiting.
So good.
Next news story here. There was this is weird. There was an Assassin's Creed Odyssey keychain that showed up.
Yeah.
With like a Roman helmet, and everyone went, "Hey, the what now? Is that the new Assassin's Creed game?" And pretty much the next day, the Assassin's Creed account posted a Assassin's Creed Odyssey trailer where a dude kicks another dude off of a cliff, and all it says is "See you at E3." So,
yep.
It was going to be, this news story originally was going to be like, oh man, maybe there's a new Assassin's Creed at E3, and maybe it'll be in Rome. That'll be cool. Maybe Bayek will be there. And they just tweeted it out.
Yep. I'm not gonna lie, I'm disappointed. I don't need another Assassin's Creed this close to the last one.
Yeah, give me like, unless it's coming out fall of next year.
I hope so, because the only thing I can think is they need to do the 2-year cycle with this and Watch Dogs.
Sure.
Watch Dogs 2 was apparently an incredible game. It might not have made the numbers that number 1 did, but it was a good game.
Watch Dogs 2 has had a long tail on it, thankfully.
Yeah. So I honestly think they should do the Call of Duty thing and just alternate instead of studios. Give me a Watch Dogs every 2 years and an Assassin's Creed every 2 years. They're different enough to where I can take that. Right. But if you give me an Assassin's Creed every year, I burn out real quick.
And maybe just take a break on Far Cry for a while.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But yes, hopefully this, at the very least, this needs to come out in like April of next year.
It's not gonna. I know
it's gonna come out in November.
Yes.
October 26, 2018.
Yeah. Wait for the day after Madden comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, next news story. This one's weird. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, the studio, Bluehole, is suing Epic Games over Fortnite Battle Royale for copyright infringement.
Can I just ask, did everybody forget about Dennis Dyack already?
Hopefully. What did he say?
Isn't Dennis Dyack the one who did this exact same thing with the Epic / about the Unreal?
Oh yeah, with Too Human, and that was what I'm understanding about the Too Human one is that was an engine. What was it, like engine licensing problem?
Yes, because he claims he didn't get the support needed.
Right, that was
because they were too busy producing Gears of War. Right. But at the time, the Dennis Dyack lawsuit slapped and sounded like a child stomping his foot because he hasn't got his way. Right. Because the thing he wanted to make is not as popular as he thinks it is.
Right. More people went to their birthday party. Come on.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
This sounds an awful lot like Bluehole stamping their feet and being more people are playing Fortnite Battle Royale than PUBG.
Right. And like, the thing I could understand is if Bluehole would go after Epic and say, like, look, you're making improvements to Unreal Engine for Fortnite that are not getting sent to Unreal Engine licensors. That's unacceptable. I don't believe that that's the case. You know, to be clear, I'm not saying that that is the case. That's certainly not what this lawsuit is. This lawsuit is filed in Korea, which I'm finding out is a country that is very strict about IP protections.
Okay, so that makes sense why it's there. I was curious about that.
Right. And Bluehole, I think, is headquartered in Korea, so it seems a little bit less shady.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, PUBG is not... Actually, PlayerUnknown, I believe, lives in Korea now. So he works at Bluehole.
He's Irish by birth, I believe.
I believe so, yeah. But you're right. This very much, like... I know Bluehole's coming out and being like, look, it's not a popularity thing. It sure seems like it. Like, if it's not a popularity thing...
It's a lunch money thing.
Well, like, if it's not a popularity thing, I understand we're not lawyers for the case, so we don't get to know 100% of what goes on in the lawsuit. What is it about? Like, what's the problem that you have between these two games that are... The core of them are the same. 100 people fall out of a thing in the sky and kill each other. But beyond that, the two games couldn't be more different in this micro-genre.
Yeah,
like, they're two sides of the same coin.
Gasman actually brought this up, which I didn't realise. Fortnite's a hit-scan game, and PUBG is a ballistics model game.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Which, when it comes to shoot-'em-ups, that in itself is a distinct difference between the pair of them. And might also explain why I do prefer PUBG, because I do prefer my ballistics models these days. Right.
I mean, like, even if you look, because I was explaining the lawsuit to my wife, because someone at work talked about it to her. To me, the difference is, like, even graphically, obviously there's a difference. But even stuff like map size. Like, Fortnite's map is so much smaller and more dense than PUBG's huge maps.
Yeah.
That, you know, like, I know Bluehole has been going after some game makers for putting frying pans in their game. They're like, no, that's our thing. It's like, no,
No, it's not.
you gotta back off of that, dude. Like, that's pretty... We now have a begging cat on the stream.
Yep.
So,
I don't know if you can actually hear him, by the way, but I'm pretty sure level later you'll be able to hear him play, I bet you.
oh, nice. So this lawsuit is really weird. We will follow this one too because it seems frivolous. I might not know all the details, but it sure doesn't seem or feel great.
No, to me, like, I don't get me wrong, I get it, they're upset, they're having issues, but at the same time, how much money were they making when PUBG was just PUBG and nobody else was around?
Right.
If they're upset that Fortnite is eating their lunch, which Fortnite is, end of
100%.
discussion, Fortnite
Fortnite's
is
free.
Yeah.
That's why it's winning.
It's free. It's got the Epic behind it.
Yep.
And
it's on
Epic's
every platform, including PS4, which PUBG is not.
And it's not a small studio,
right.
So they can literally launch people at that game to fix its problems.
Pick up 100 people and put them over on Fortnite. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's a thing Epic can do. Well, and the thing too is, Epic has clearly invested in performance, where PUBG has always struggled with frame rate and lag and just overall game performance that I feel like could have been a differentiating factor for them at some point.
Yeah. Like, during the whole PUBG blowing up kind of time frame, at no point do I remember really hearing about them staffing up hardcore, like
right.
bringing in 100, 200 new people.
Right.
Which, at that time, they had the money to bring in 200 people and fix the problems.
They probably still do, because PUBG is still doing very well. It's just Fortnite is like through the roof. You know, you just keep hearing all these news stories of teachers having to turn off, you know, begging the IT department at their high school to turn off Wi-Fi so kids will stop playing Fortnite on their phone during class. You know, like, it's just a phenomenon at this point, and PUBG is just... It's now in second place, and that's fine. Like, start investing in making a free-to-play version.
Yeah.
It only has one map that rotates every month. You know, it has more loot boxes. It has a battle pass that does very well for Epic. You know, like, you can, if you want to start, if you want to start watching a cat lick your elbow, if you want to get back in first place, compete.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, like, don't sit there and get sour grapes. Like, just start making a free-to-play version.
Yeah, like, work on it internally. Figure out, do what you did with this. Figure out what's next.
Yeah,
and do that. No,
yeah.
dude.
200 people in a plane.
Yes,
I got it.
1,000 people in a plane.
Man.
And the map is only 1 square kilometer, so everybody has a tiny little section each that they start in.
Right. It's a turn-based SRPG.
Here's my genius idea for the Battle Royale genre. Instead of dropping out of a plane, you pick where you start, like movie seats.
There you go.
So everybody has a square that they have to assign.
And then they come out of the ground.
Exactly.
It's a zombie. Oh, crap. That could actually work. Copyright TVGP E1M1 Studios. Zombie PUBG. This cat is so weird. Our last news story is another instance, just like Assassin's Creed. There was rumors of a Fallout thing, and then Bethesda said, "Oh yeah, that's Fallout 76. See you at E3." And then Jason Schreier over at Kotaku says, based on his sources, it's going to be a co-op online survival RPG thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot on Pup yesterday, and I think where I fall on the sort of opinion spectrum here is, I'm interested, after being disappointed in Fallout 4, I'm interested in seeing what they're gonna do next, and if they're gonna take something so different from a single player, you know, single player only open world RPG.
Yeah.
they could potentially do something great here. If they're just making Rust, basically, with Fallout, that's not something that I'm interested in. That's the second wave of rumors is that's what they're making.
Oh.
That would turn me off pretty immediately.
Yeah.
But if
Then
they're
you
going to
said that, and now my dreams are ruined.
Right.
I didn't even make that connection.
But if they're going to make like a co-op, drop-in, drop-out, open-world Fallout game that's just standard Fallout, but you can play a co-op, that would probably be pretty good. I think I'd play that. My wife and I would probably play it. Your wife and you would play that. Like,
yeah, definitely. Well, my wife and I will play this 100% regardless.
Yeah.
This household is a Remedy household. This household is a Bethesda household.
Right.
This household is a Ubisoft household.
Don't bring this EA in my house.
I used to love EA as well. So much.
Everybody did. But yeah, this will be interesting to see at E3 because I'm assuming this will be a large part. This is probably the last thing Bethesda will show at their press conference. I'm assuming it will take up a majority of that press conference because if it's gonna be different from standard, and when they announced Fallout 4, it's like, hey, it's more Fallout. Pre-order the dumb thing on your arm, and it's like, yeah, like ripping our hair out, like yeah.
Don't diss the Pip-Boy.
No, I have. It's sitting right behind me. It's. You can see... No, you can't. Yours is sitting somewhere over there. Sherlock is very excited to play with the drapes.
It's right there.
There it is.
You can't see it.
But I feel like if you're going to make a different Fallout game, you have a bit of selling to do. Where it's like, it's Fallout. Here's what it is this time, though.
You've got the chance here to take all those people like Gersman, like you, who are fed up of the same engine, the same gameplay style, the same everything, and give them something different. And you've got the chance to give the people who are big fans of the series, my wife, me, chances to play it in a different way.
Right.
How, out of curiosity, how up are you on your Fallout lore?
I'm okay. I do like that they're featuring Vault 76, which is the first vault that's opened after the bombs fell. So it's, from what I was reading recently, I was trying to remind myself of all these different vaults. Most of them open 200 years later. This one's open 20 years later.
Yep.
So I'm assuming if it is a survival game, that's a large part of what you're dealing with is the radiation and like no, but. The funniest joke that I did see online that...
Tell me this is about Vault 77, and we were so close.
Yeah, well, that one's really good, because Vault 77 is pretty great. But no, the one Musim reminded me of on Pup yesterday, which is 76 people fall out of a plane and have to kill each other. It's like... we're taking this genre by the horns.
Yeah, my favorite one is, for those who don't know, Vault 77, because the vaults... Spoiler alert, if you're not a fan of the Fallout series, the vaults are supposedly safe spaces for people, but they are actually not. They are social experiments.
Yep.
Every single one of them is generally a social experiment.
77 is the Penny Arcade vault.
Yes. 76 isn't. 77 is one man and hundreds of puppets.
Yeah, it's like 200 hand puppets or something like that.
Yep.
Penny Arcade had a strip they did about it years and years ago. It's still on the site somewhere, but it was pretty good. But
yeah,
that'd be like, that would be the game Don't Nod makes, or Telltale makes.
No, that would be the game Devolver Digital makes.
Yeah, that's true. But it actually ships with real hand puppets, and it's a VR game.
Oh my, I'm sorry, that's genius. Yeah. Fallout VR, except you're in Vault 77.
I'm just printing money today, guys. Between my zombie battle royale game and.
Your little controllers control the mouths, and you have to make them talk to each other.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, that's genius.
I am here as a consultant. If Devolver Digital wants to hire me, I'm open. All right, let's. I forgot to do this last week, but before we move into questions, we're going to talk about TVGP recommends and try and do this weekly. We may not have recommendations every week, and that's okay. But sometimes we will, and sometimes Sherlock is just going to be even stranger underneath you. On his, I have weird cats, and your cat is weird.
Hey, this isn't my cat, for the record. My cat is the one that comes and sleeps.
Right, the chill
one.
This
is my wife's cat.
Yeah. Do you have any recommendations, or do you have a recommendation for this week?
Yes, actually, it's something I've mentioned before on the show before, but I kind of always want to give them as much love as I can. Poets of the Fall, specifically today, it's a band. Poets of the Fall. If you're a video game fan, you have probably played a game with them in it. Specifically, bringing it back around again, if you've played a Remedy game.
Right.
Because with the exception of Quantum Break, I'm pretty sure they did a song for every single Remedy game. Late Goodbye,
so, yeah.
Late Goodbye was Max Payne 2. I don't know what Max Payne 1 was. Alan Wake was like 3 or 4 different songs.
Yeah.
War, the old gods in that game, the old heavy metal band that are in the Doctor's place. That's Poets of the Fall.
Yeah.
Like. They're probably my favorite, like, kind of new metal-y band.
Real and fictional band.
Yes.
Yeah.
But go give them a listen to. Lift is probably my favorite song by them. So go give that a listen to if you like the kind of style of that. Give their albums a try. I love Poets of the Fall.
We actually didn't talk about our recommendations before the show, and I actually have a music recommendation too.
That's great.
I'm going to recommend the second Run the Jewels album. It's just called Run the Jewels 2. I feel like this is probably one of the more popular albums I could recommend. If you listen to any popular music or rap, you've probably heard this album a whole bunch already. But if you don't, and you don't listen to rap, I'd still recommend this album. It is 2 musicians at the top of their game, LP and Killer Mike, that just over like 10 tracks and 45 minutes just kill it, track after track after track. I'd say even if you don't like rap, give it a shot, give it a try. It's not really your standard, I think what people think of stereotypical rap. This is more a little bit more political, a little bit more biting about some more social commentary. Yeah, it's really great. So go check out. Run the Jewels 1 and 3 I both think are good, but 2 for me is the real sweet spot. So go listen to some good music that we have for you this week. Let's move on to questions. Servo in Discord says, recently I was playing the beta for The Crew 2. It features my hometown of
That's an interesting town name.
Yeah, of Hamtramck, Michigan, on its map, which is a little 2-square-mile town. It's had me thinking, what type of game genre would you like to see your hometown in? For example, Forza Horizon setting, Yakuza-style RPG, GTA clone, Left 4 Dead campaign, and so on. Thanks.
Dead easy answer for me. Give me a Yakuza-style game. Like that kind of setup, all about a city, a culture, or whatever. Except give me about soccer hooligans in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, God, that'd be so good.
Because, yo, if you don't know, I'm from Liverpool. Yeah. And, yo, if you don't know, Liverpool and Manchester despise each other when it comes to soccer.
Yeah.
Like, there were... Basically, it was gang warfare for a while back then.
Right.
So, give me that setup, that look, that
As
feel.
much as I would hate to say it, that would have to be a Rockstar game.
It would. 100%.
I feel like they could nail that. It would come out in 20 years, but...
But the problem is that they look at everything so satirically.
Yeah.
That they can't do it about English people. The closest they've really got is Bully, was a great thing, but that was more about class warfare.
Well, don't forget about GTA 2 London's expansion.
So please. That was terrible.
Probably one of the most insulting pieces of English media.
But I'd love to see something like that, like The Getaway, but based in like 70s, 80s, like, because like it or not, soccer hooligans existed. Like it or not, they thought they were the good guys, which makes a really good hero story.
Yeah,
about learning your lesson about not killing people over some sports thing.
Right. I think for me, because I grew up in Cleveland, I would almost want it to be like an adventure game for like the art scene in the 70s and 80s, and maybe moving into the decline of the cities in the 90s and the 2000s, and sort of charting that, because there have been some famous comic artists that have come out of there that have sort of chronicled the underbelly of the city and some of the seedier side. That could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Cleveland's not really well known for a lot of stuff.
No, it's well known for 3 things right now: the Indians, the Browns, and how bad they are, and LeBron James.
LeBron James featuring recently.
Cleveland.
T-Bomb Rocks asks, I'm noticing more Japanese-style games that normally would just come to PS4 are now starting to come to the Xbox. Codename Vein, Shining Resonance, Refrain, for example. My question is, why do you feel this is changing?
Because they need to make as much money as they humanly can.
Well, and I think there's a hungry market for it. You know, there are people that own Xbox Ones that are saying, like Moonpier does, where it's like, hey, Japan, I would like to buy and play your games. Like, can you bring them to me on my platform without having to buy a whole nother one?
While you're at it, Japan, pass that message along to Nicholas for me, please.
There was a tweet from Ed this week that said Nicholas has told him that development is underway for all the console versions of the booster pack. So
yeah, I'll
any
see it
year
when I can
now,
download
it'll
it.
be out. Yeah, I think it's just there has to be a critical mass of Xboxes out there that want these type of games. And I think with the Vita on its way out, I think there needs to be another niche market that finds its home somewhere, and the Xbox could be that.
To be honest, I also think this could just be a case of, because you know how long development takes on these type of games, and then you see something like Yakuza 6 or Yakuza Kiwami come out, or Yakuza 5, I think was the main one that brought it to everyone's attention. You see them selling like hotcakes over here, like in the Western audiences, and then maybe you get 1 or 2 devs over there who suddenly think to themselves, well, we might be able to get that, but we can also put it on the Xbox as well.
Right.
To widen that market space even more. I mean, the architecture is so similar these days. Yeah. It's practically zero effort these days anyway to get it transferred over.
Well, and that's what I was going to talk about. It's like maybe the middleware solution for porting a lot of stuff between consoles and PC and all that stuff. Maybe it's starting to get easier for people that are running Unreal Engine 4 or Unity or any of these other engines to just do a little bit of work and get that on the Xbox One as well.
Yeah.
So, and Microsoft's probably courting a lot of them more too.
I hope so.
Microsoft desperately wants that Japanese marketplace that is continuing to evade them. So if there's any way they can get there, they will do that.
I think the thing with them is, though, they've tried in the past, and even then, they didn't let what Japan or the Eastern market think of them bother them. What bothered Microsoft was the Western market making fun of them for going after the Japanese market.
Right.
It's like, look at this store selling Xboxes. There's nobody lined outside. It's like, that's a Western person making that reference. Someone in that situation in the East is they don't care.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Yeah.
It's like, that's fine. They don't care, but we still want those games.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Death2K in Discord says, just saw this question, thought it was funny. The last 2 games you played have fused into one game. How well did it turn out? Mine would be God of Ni no Kuni 2 War Kingdom.
Dark Souls of Legends. So essentially it's the exact same game.
But it's also like the title of a bad mobile ripoff.
Oh yeah.
Mine, I guess, would be
Legends.
Yakuza Moonlighter. So I guess Kiryu is in Moonlighter, and instead of sword and boarding it in the dungeon, he's just punching people.
That would be kind of cool.
Threatening them to pay more for his wares.
Oh.
That
would actually be really cool.
Yeah.
Of course you would, it's a roguelike.
I know. I can't help myself.
can't
And last but not least, Maximus Prime says, leaks are bound to happen, but this year seems particularly bad. What are your thoughts on this year's E3 leaks? Have they made you less or more excited for the event? And what surprises do you predict are still under wraps?
I cannot comment on the leaks because I am deliberately avoiding everything to do with the leaks.
I won't spoil anything for you, but it's a lot like previous years where it's like, someone has a Nintendo schedule that they took a picture of with their phone. Ooh, you know, Smash 18 is coming out. There's a release date for this game that'll never happen. You know, it's like, it's a lot of that.
It's like, oh, we've got an appointment with Sony Santa Monica. I wonder what it could be about.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of, like, dream lists of games coming to Switch. You know, that sort of stuff.
To be honest, I'm a relatively intelligent video gamer. I can probably predict probably at least 60% of what is going to be at E3.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit down and try to do that, though, because I want the chance to go in there as blind as I can to see, to be able to get behind those games again. Like, I don't think Microsoft is going to have a great show this year. I am expecting them to have a really poor one. Yeah. Because they've said for years that we need to wind things up for them and getting exclusives, getting, you know, different games on the platform. You can't do that in a year. That's the problem that you run into, is you cannot make that transition in a year. And last year they had Scalebound cancel, Crackdown 3 delay, all that stuff. Sea of Thieves kind of doing a little dive.
Yeah.
So what can they do in a year? I don't know. I hope they've got 20 surprises. I doubt they have, but I hope they do. Well, I don't know.
Part of the excitement of watching E3 too is like, I'm going to be watching the Bethesda press conference really closely, and one of the trailers might start with a moon, and I'll be like, oh, it's Prey. And then, you know, at the end when it says Prey goes to the moon, I'll be like, yes, yeah, I'm so excited. But if you see that stuff on text where it's just like, Bethesda's showing Wolfenstein 2 DLC, Prey DLC, they're showing this other thing. It's sort of like,
it's not exciting. It's okay.
I mean, I'm still excited to see it because, like, it on paper is sort of like, they showed a Prey trailer. I'll be like, okay, cool. Like, I'm excited to play that. And then they show it, and, like, the Typhon are on the moon. I'm like, yeah! You know, it's just, there's a lot of that. I talked a little bit about it between segments, so Outcast peeps will hear that. Sort of broke down each press conference. I'm kind of excited to see Devolver Digital for two reasons. One, it's going to be insane. And two, I really like a lot of the games they've been publishing lately. They're just putting out a ton of really great indie stuff, and I'm excited to watch a trailer for an indie game I've never heard of, where I'm like, great, I need to put this on some wish list right now, because as soon as it comes out, I need to play it.
Is it just me, or has Devolver Digital done what Dave Lang couldn't?
Oh, throwing shade, but yes, also that's true. Yeah, Iron Galaxy could never really get a winning combination.
They did a bunch of publishing deals, and the games they put out were okay, but nothing special.
I feel like Devolver is more stubborn.
We will make this succeed no matter what.
Yeah, like, I'm going to publish indie games. I'm going to put out 200 this year, and if 10 of them are good, we've succeeded.
Yeah.
Here's our crazy show. Yeah. That's probably my biggest one. My other one that I talked about during the Outcast was, I want to see Sony. I'm concerned about Microsoft for the same reasons that you are. I want to see Sony because are they going to get crappy like they did when they were on top going into the PS3, where they...
You know they will.
They get an attitude. Because all I want them to do is the same thing they did last year. The orchestra tunes up and they play a song over a trailer, and then for the next hour to an hour and a half, it's just trailers and nobody's on stage.
Yep.
That's all you need to do. And then announce 100%. A PS4 Pro price cut. That's it.
If Microsoft needs to cut the X. I know they're making a loss on it, but they need to cut that price. Yeah. If they want to make a bigger dent, they need to.
Yep. Man, I don't know, but I'm just excited for E3. I feel like it's snuck up on us this year.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it started in like this weekend.
Yeah, in 6 days. But I'm excited for it every year. I like sitting in my living room, pulling up Twitch on my PS4, and just kind of watching the press conferences and having a great time seeing games, seeing release dates for games I didn't think we'd get, and seeing new games that I may or may not care about, and typing up my 20 pages of show notes I have every year.
Yeah, I think I made like so many pages last year.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
And I'm excited for games to be in the spotlight again, often for positive reasons.
Yes.
Because, you know, we're gonna, at least for one day, they're going to be on the nightly news, and it's going to be the big game the big game show out in California. It's called E3. You know, we're going to have that, and for once, it's not going to be like the brand new murder simulator that's killing your children, Fortnite. Yep. You know, it's not any of that stuff.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole, please, because I will lose it.
This kid failed their SATs because they were playing Fortnite during the test. You know, not that stuff, but I don't know. I'm just excited. I like E3 every year.
I mean, I like it. We have the rule. Like I don't know if she'll want to watch it this year, but Jess deliberately chose not to watch it last year.
Too much hype.
She is like me, and she will get caught up in the hype.
That hype train picks her up and moves quick.
The hype
right over to Amazon.
And then, I was just about to say, and then we pre-order 50 things.
Yeah. That hype train just goes 500 miles an hour right to the Amazon cart.
Yeah.
I have a credit card. It won't be a problem for a while. Whoops.
Oh, we have a credit card now is the problem.
Whoops. All right, and on that note, that's our episode. We'll talk a little bit about E3 next week. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. All the links to all the places you can find us, including Discord, are on the right-hand side of the page. There's an E3 2018 channel that I created for the show, so we're not filling up the general chat. And for people like Moonpier that want to stay unspoiled on potentially believable leaks, you can have all that stuff in there. patreon.com/E1M1. Don't forget to get all the cool behind-the-scenes stuff and all the exclusive episodes and early access to T-Bomb R and Dynamic Soundtrack and Old Dog New Flicks and the exclusive Outcast, which is probably going to be really long and very cat-filled this week.
Yes.
For anyone that's not a patron, normally we put about 45 minutes out for Outcast every week, so that's only at the $5 tier, so you're getting a lot of audio every week. Between this week will be 4 episodes across all this stuff. Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, Smashcast, follow us on there and it'll let you know when we go live. And Game Club, about 2 weeks left to finish Owlboy. I think that just came out physically too for PS4 and Switch.
On Switch, yeah.
So you can scoop that up, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye. Coach Jamal in chat talks about the Champions League goal. Yeah. I did watch the Champions League final highlights. I didn't watch it proper because at the time I was whitewater rafting, and I deliberately didn't bring it up on the show because Liverpool got beat like 3-1. But 2 of the goals were the goalkeeper's fault, and 1 was absolutely unbeatable. Like, there was no way you could stop that shot.
Wow.
So...
Icesan asked, Moonpier, how accurate were the soccer firms in Green Street Hooligans?
I'm not gonna lie, I've not seen Green Street. Everyone tells me I should watch it.
Great for Old Dog New Flicks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Wink.
But do I want to watch Elijah Wood get violent? He's always Frodo to me.
You're always Frodo in my heart. All right, I have a ton of titles.
Me too.
Okay, I'll have you go first then.
It's called Salty Beach, a slideshow where you die at the end.
Yeah.
I'd rather fade than burn out. Sorry, I'd rather fade away than burn out. Now I feel badly. It's like an infomercial. We made them for you. I don't even know what that one says. Bridge wall.
Oh, good job. Bridge wall for the Inception Crew 2 thing.
Yep. Good job, El Pollo Diablo. Interval training for roguelikes.
Oh no.
TRLP. And this cat is so weird.
I have Kick in the Face, Salty Shores, Can You Feel the Heat, Super Wizard Legend 2. The one I really like is My Password is Moon. The Gaping Dragon, which I don't even know why I
you
wrote
could have
that.
vetoed that one anyway.
I know. It's a slideshow where you die at the end, and designed by people who hate people.
I'm not gonna lie, like I'm told, a slideshow where you die at the end.
That one's really good.
Interval training for roguelikes is really cool, but
That
probably
one's
a bit
really good.
long. Ugh. What were your last? Go ahead. What do you?
I feel like slideshow where you die at the end is more of a TVGP title.
Mm-hmm.
Interval training for roguelikes is so good though, but it's almost a better joke for in the episode.
Yeah. I'm torn because they're both really good.
All of these are. We had a lot of really great titles this week. My vote is for slideshow. And we haven't had a really long title in quite a while.
True. So is it slideshow where you die at the end?
Yeah, it's a slideshow where you die at the end. Okay, I'll circle that one. I think that's our winner, Bobby. Alright, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 554 for June 4th, 2018. It's a slideshow where you die at the end.
Really hate Blighttown.
Alright, thank you so much everyone for watching. Had a ton of people in, and almost everybody behaved themselves this week, except for a person not banned on Mixer. Wink. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye.